hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
College basketball's biggest tournament is coming, and it's time to start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. Circa Sports Iowa. It's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, tight money line splits, exceptional customer service, and more. Fund and bet like a pro anywhere, anytime. It's never been easier. Download your new bookie before all of the March action at circasports.com. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Kansas City became just the 9th back-to-back Super Bowl champion in NFL history. But will they have 5-time Pro Bowl defensive lineman Chris Jones on board as they go for an unprecedented 3 straight Lombardi trophies? Head coach Andy Reid met the media Tuesday and said he and general manager Brett Veach are open to continuing the partnership. 49ers defensive tackle Eric Armstead said he tore the meniscus in his right knee in the Week 13 win at the Eagles. He played through it in the postseason, but will need surgery on it in the coming days. His hope is to be back ready around training camp. 123.4 million average viewers across all platforms watched as the Chiefs beat the 49ers in Super Bowl 58 Sunday night. The audience bested last year's mark of 115.1 million. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online. Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
A crossover is crossover dribble. Sing for the crossover.
Kyrie Irving, crossover in the lane.
One of the most famous crossovers of all time.
Behind the back, an ankle breaker on Chris Paul.
Crossover. Double crossover. Crossover continues to evolve.
The crossover is powered by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com.
Yeah, it is.
Happy Valentine's Day, boys.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Look at you guys, all you married guys in this room. You're so excited.
Are we? Of course we are.
I just wrapped up my plans of what I'm doing tonight.
What do you got on the docket?
Is it that thing you were talking about when you came in the room? No? Okay.
No.
Oh, okay, good.
Save that for another day.
That's good. That's good.
Now, none of us were like Nick Grimm and took today off.
Oh, he did. He just did.
He took Valentine's Day off to commit fully to
that
the day?
is the true sign of a new relationship.
Wow,
That's
right. That's it right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think he's like showing up with like a tuxedo on? And just
think
gonna do a day of events?
Probably do some froth.
Well,
you know?
he did get a good
couples froth.
You can't waste that haircut. He got a nice fade, man.
That's true.
Got a solid looking fade. You got to take advantage.
What are you doing today? I'm frothing.
Yeah,
Alone?
No.
Oh, it is good frothing weather.
Love
Are the froth courses open?
Oh yeah,
they got to be.
Oh yeah, they don't close those puppies down.
No.
They don't miss a chance.
Nope. Looking good out there, folks. It's optimal conditions for frothing.
My wife has really been wanting sloppy joes recently, so I've decided that I'm going to make her sloppy joes tonight.
Nothing says love like sloppy
joes.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like that's a normal Valentine's Day dinner.
Why don't you go with a loose meat sandwich instead?
I mean, that's basically what it is,
Yeah,
right?
but you got a little sauce. I don't like sloppy joes. I like the loose meat sandwich.
So just the meat. So
The meat got a little
you just
onions
want
in there.
you just want ground beef on a bun.
A made right.
Yeah, don't you put like? Isn't it like got
Why don't you
diced
go all in
onions
on
in
your
there?
fascination with Iowa and just do a made right today?
What's that?
That's what a loose meat sandwich is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sloppy
No,
Joe
thank-
just has the sauce and
No, thank you.
Does it have diced onions in the made
Yeah.
rights? Okay, that's what I thought.
super popular.
That sauce will get in there. I mean, that's gonna be pretty good.
I can't tell you. I think the last time I had Sloppy Joes, I might have been in school.
What did you call Sloppy Joes growing up?
Sloppy Joes.
Sloppy Joes?
Yeah, Sloppy Joes.
My mom called them Yum Yums.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Everybody's got a different name for Sloppy Joes.
Yum
Really?
Yums.
Yum Yums.
Yeah, Yum Yums.
Did Yum Yums make it more appealing for a kid to eat it as opposed to slop? Because I would think sloppy would appeal to kids. Because we want to be sloppy.
It was all very appealing.
Your kids like them extra sloppy.
I know how you kids like them sloppy.
Sloppy Joe.
Cut it out, lady. You're scaring us.
Yeah, so I don't know. Please text us or comment us what you called Sloppy Joes as a kid.
What are you gonna go? What are you gonna make with the Sloppy Joe?
Yeah, what's the side?
I think probably some tater tots or something like
there
that.
you go.
Like a good
Yeah,
call there.
Yeah,
Chuck them
sloppy
in
Joes.
the air fryer.
You guys gonna have a little
Boom.
wine?
Maybe.
What wine pairs well with a sloppy Joe?
Yeah, is that a red?
I'd have to talk to my what are the wine people called? The people who taste wine.
Sommelier?
The sommeliers.
sommelier, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to talk to my guy on
Yeah.
that. And
Oh,
see
don't
what-
worry, they live next door. Pete and Ginger.
I'm sure you can find one at a Creighton game, Connor.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Why'd you have to do that?
They would have made dollar
Hey,
beer night, dollar wine night.
When you're telling the truth, why do you got to do that voice?
Got that comment a few times.
I don't know.
last
Maybe the
night.
sloppy Joe could be a fancy beer night. Like just, because I feel like beer should accompany a sloppy Joe.
It kind of does feel right that
Yeah.
way.
I mean, but if you
But like
want
a cheap
since
beer.
but since it's Valentine's Day, maybe you want to up the beer game. I don't know.
Andrew tweeting in, Connor, just want to make sure your wife isn't Catholic because there's no meat today.
That is true.
No, she's not.
Okay,
No.
you're
Yeah.
good.
No meat today.
Yeah, no meat today.
But I'm
on
Catholic.
Valentine's Day.
What do I do about? I have broken that law many times.
It's
So the fake meat sandwich.
Like
like an
meat?
impossible meat.
Impossible sloppy Joe.
Yeah.
My UPS driver Chad,
It's like a
Chad.
sloppy John.
huge Orioles fan, said we called them Yum Yums also.
Yum Yums.
This is okay now.
Is it an
First and
Omaha
second
thing?
time.
I don't know.
No,
I've
we
never
call
heard
no,
of
we
that.
call them sloppy Joes.
Is your mom from the old country?
She is. Yeah, she's from as some call it Western Nebraska.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, now it makes sense. Things
Yeah.
are starting to fall in line here.
I don't know what they call it on the East Coast. I don't think they probably eat many Sloppy Joes on the East Coast.
A sloppy Vinny? I don't know. That's see now
A sloppy cutlet?
I'm stereotyping. Jeez.
No, there are.
I need to knock that off.
There are more Vinnies that live on the East Coast than live in Omaha.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
There's
Although
probably quite a few Joes here.
Vinny's got some. Omaha's got some Vinnies. You know.
They do.
Yeah.
One's locked up.
That's true. That is true.
That's right.
That finally came through. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Well, they never let him out.
Okay.
The term flight risk came up a whole bunch.
How many Vinnies are there like west of Omaha?
Oh, well, ooh.
Yeah, like do you think
do you think I ever ran into a Vinny in Columbus? Actually, funny enough, I had a Vinny that I coached.
Vinny in Columbus?
There was a Vinny, yeah, there was a Vinny in Columbus.
All right, so there's probably like 20 Vinnies that live west
I
of
mean,
Omaha.
his name was Vincent, but we called him Vinny.
Sure.
God, I'm trying to think of like guys at Nebraska that I covered. Nebraska had a shortstop named Vinny DeGrand.
Nice.
Okay.
I can't think of. I mean, they have a Vincent Jackson right now.
We had Vincent Valentine, but he wasn't from
Yeah,
Not
but
a
no
Vin-
like straight.
You think they
Vinnies.
call him Vinny Jackson?
No.
Vinny Jackson
No,
Carroll?
he's
Carroll
too,
Jackson?
He's too big.
Vinny
I'd keep him as a Vincent.
Yeah, no one's really calling Vincent Valentine Vinny.
Brian says we also called them Sloppy Joes, but we added a slice of cheese to them. Do you throw cheese on your Sloppy Joes?
Whoa.
No.
I have not, but that's like, hey, so that's something you should try because I got Nick trying this.
Yeah, I got to try a bunch
So
of stuff.
the guy that invented Pop-Tarts died.
Yes.
I heard
Rest
about
in
this.
peace.
Thoughts and prayers.
Oh my God, Matt
to the
Nagy
family.
is dancing.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Matt.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Nagy.
some problems in Kansas
Jesus.
City.
Matt
That
Nagy.
was the first parade.
That was the first one?
Oh, yeah, they're not that hammered yet.
Yeah, they
right?
don't start till 11.
Okay,
10 in
that's
the-
good.
10 in the morning.
So
raging
this has been backed up by listeners. Butter on a Pop-Tart.
There's that song from
We've heard this
from
before.
Family Guy.
There's a song?
But
Yeah, have you ever put butter on a Pop-Tart? Yeah,
I never thought this was a thing. It actually is a thing, and people are saying it's game changing.
Yeah, I've heard the same. I don't really dive into the Pop-Tart world. I'm not in the Pop-Tart world.
Do you go frosted or unfrosted on for buttered Pop-Tarts?
See, that's what I was wondering too. But they said
seems like that might be a good application for an unfrosted Pop-Tart.
Yeah, but they said you do it on the butt, on the back.
What?
On the
Yeah,
butt?
the butt of it.
Oh,
on the crust
uncrusted
side. Yeah, on the crust side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what they said you had to do it on the crust side. I'm going to try this today because I was told that it's a game changer.
Okay.
Benson Bunny Boy says Sloppy Joe's blow.
Great take.
Great take.
What was the Twitter name?
At Benson Bunny Boy.
Hey now, Benson Bunny Boy.
Running Rabbit?
Do you guys ever
so.
put chips on them for crunch? We did that a lot. We
It'd probably have to be like
chips.
a Frito.
We put potato chips on it.
Potato chips.
Yeah, just give it a little crunch.
Like just
straight Lay's.
Your yellow bag.
Yeah, a yellow bag, a good solid potato chip. It's probably a little oily.
I only have a yellow bag of Lay's in the summer. I don't have those at my disposal. That's a summer chip, you know.
Well, and that's the thing. If you buy it just
like
for the
that
sloppy
too.
joes, you got to commit to the rest of the chips because otherwise you're just throwing that bag away, and they're really boring.
Yeah, you're not going to eat the chips just by themselves.
No
chance. Andrew says we add Velveeta into the sloppy joes while cooking the sloppy joes. So it's
never
like
done that.
Cheesy sloppy joe, almost like a cheesy
This
potato.
could be quite the night in your household.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, a lot of experimenting.
Very exciting.
What are you looking to get out of it?
Just
companionship,
a good meal. Okay. Just a good meal.
Companionship.
What are you gonna do afterwards? Watch a little movie, little rom-com. Josh has his list of top 5 rom-coms of all time.
Yeah, what do you got, Josh?
I could get you. When Harry Met Sally's a classic.
Always. It's a good one.
Clueless.
Never seen it.
That's a great one.
That is.
If you like ending up with your cousin.
Well, I thought it was stepbrother. I thought he was his stepbrother.
Yeah.
Good movie though.
That makes it weirder.
It does.
Yeah. There's not much sports on tonight.
Not that it made
so-
it better, but
No.
yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Oh, Something About Mary. I guess that's a rom-com. That'd be a nice little.
Yeah. Something for you, something for her.
Yeah.
Instead of like The Notebook or something.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Terrible movie.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I kind of like that movie.
I don't like it.
Failure to launch.
I thought Kate Hudson was pretty good.
She's wonderful in it.
Matthew
I'll grant you
McConaughey
that.
played
I don't
his
love
role.
Kate Hudson.
Oh wow.
I don't love Kate
That
Hudson.
came out of left field.
Yeah, you mentioned Kate Hudson, and people always seem to love her.
What got you on the opposite side of Kate Hudson?
I'm not sure. I just don't think she's very good.
Is there a particular movie?
I can think of some of her performances.
I'll walk down that road with you. She's not a great actress.
Okay.
She may have benefited from her parents,
Maybe.
Goldie and Kurt. I mean,
Nepo baby.
She's a looker.
10 Things I Hate About You. Great movie. Great movie.
Yeah, it is. Heath Ledger. Rest in peace.
Let's see. Oh, Groundhog Day. Technically locked in as a rom-com.
You should have already watched that though.
Little dark.
A little late.
You should have watched it by now.
Loving Basketball.
Oh.
Notting Hill.
Pretty
Coming
Woman.
to America?
now Pretty Woman would be that is aged pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. The Princess Bride. Sleepless in Seattle.
That's another good one.
I'm just
Involves radio. Sleepless in Seattle.
we love
remember when
radio.
Meg Ryan was just banger after banger.
40-Year-Old Virgin, not a rom-com. Nope.
No.
Not much rom. I mean, I guess there's a little rom, at the end.
Well, you feel for Steve Carell.
Sure.
Moonstruck is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because it has Nick Cage being a psycho.
Yep.
Which is great. I did recently watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yeah?
Oh, sure.
That's kind of a good one.
Yeah, they should have stopped at one.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And they decided, let's just keep making them.
Wait, there's a
and then
second?
let's do a
Didn't know
TV
that.
series.
I had no idea there was a second.
There's like a new one
Oh my
now.
gosh.
Didn't they do like a series?
They also did
Oh, boy.
well, it became a TV show.
Yeah.
And then they did a third one last summer.
Very cool.
Oh my gosh.
It's on Peacock.
Oh, The Big Sick. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a recent rom-com with Kumail.
Big Sick.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
All right,
I
so
didn't know that
that's the list from Vanity Fair. If you
Okay.
guys are interested in rom-coms tonight.
Okay.
You know what I was thinking of? Back to Sunday at Pinnacle Bank Arena,
Mhm.
where thank you for Iowa for coming and helping set a record and helping the economy.
Well, I just hope they caught their flight.
I was thinking about this as I was watching highlights of, they were celebrating that it was the most watched women's college basketball game on Fox. We don't make signs or banners and take them to games anymore, do we? Like there were a lot of kids that had signs.
So many signs.
But we don't.
Some of them got
we don't do
roasted
that
by
anymore.
me.
Did you guys ever take a bed sheet and make a sign to take it to a sporting event or something?
I just
Nope, never.
don't want to carry anything
Yeah, I
from
never
the
did.
car.
But there used to be. We used to go to games and people would have signs.
Yeah.
I never had the proper tools to make a sign.
Agree. Yeah, I'm kind of. The
I
same.
didn't want to do the arts and crafts
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't want to do.
It just seemed like a lot of work. I was really excited to go to a game, but I didn't really want to create anything.
And what about signs at a concert? Like, hey Taylor, I love you.
Marry me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still see those. I think Bin Laden killed the signs and banners at sporting events.
Thanks a lot, Bin Laden.
Full question.
Couldn't bring him in. So, but all these kids had signs, and I'm like, it's been a long time since I went to a sporting event where multiple people had signs. I remember going as a kid, and a lot of people had signs. They wanted to get on TV, or they were holding up for their favorite, player. Like you go to a Cardinals game, and there is the sign guy that has those really, really, nice painted signs that'll hold up for the players. He sits behind the Cardinal dugout.
Remember on the old NCAA football games, which might be set to come back here?
Oh yeah, you could create your own.
You can make your own signs. You can just write poop on it.
Yeah.
And there's a guy in the front row. It says poop.
Yeah. It's like, hey, poop. Yep. I do remember that. That was fun.
That was fun. At the women's basketball games, though, that is a very common thing. The little
sign that says poop?
No, the little girls making signs.
Yeah.
They get into the arts and crafts part and they put the effort in, and then they have the players sign their signs, which is nice. And they always
I think we need more signs at sporting events.
I don't know if I could get on board with this.
There's probably an age limit.
Yeah, right.
I mean, like a 50-year-old guy walking into a football stadium with a sign that says, "Hey, Travis, throw me a ball" or something like that.
Like what if it's me and I go to and it's like bedazzled and stuff, and it says
you definitely would get attention. Like if you went to the Creighton game and sat like in the middle of a section, and you were the only person that had a sign.
Yeah,
you'd hold up the sign during the game.
What about the classic like Fox FOX?
Oh yeah, and then you put words with the F and the O and the.
See that's how you get on TV. Hey, that's America gone wrong. We used to do that, like ESPN, so you'd spell things out.
Yeah, that's how you get on TV. That's the trick.
I would actually, that would intrigue me more than any other sign making is if I could make words with the actual letters of the network. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I mean, why do we have to limit it to game day? Why can't we take those creative signs into our sporting events and be funny?
I mean, you can.
We've lost the comedy part in this country.
It's just
not funny anymore. Thanks a lot, Bin Laden. Again.
Bernie says on the text,
Bernie.
He said, I made a sign when I was 11 or 12 for the Nebraska-Colorado game in honor of Rashawn Salam. Hey, Black Shirt, save some salami for me. Couldn't wait to get home to watch the VHS to see if I made the broadcast.
Well, I think, we saw this on Black Friday last year. The sign has probably been replaced by the custom shirt.
Yeah.
The punts guys.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's basically a sign at this point. I love those guys, and now they're a meme forever and ever and ever.
Did we ever figure out their identity?
That's a great question. We should probably get to the bottom of that.
I think you'd want people to know who you were because those guys became celebrities.
Yeah, we gotta find those guys.
The punts?
Yeah, the punts guys.
Yeah.
The punts brothers.
Just want to know, like, were they really excited about what they were seeing between those two offenses that day, or were they just more pro Iowa?
That's a good question.
Because I was punting porn. But remember, Nebraska's offense wasn't that great either.
It's unlikely that you show up to a college football game and you're just like a neutral observer and you're just like, I love punts, so let's wear a shirt. I imagine
it'd be a better story if it was.
I imagine that they were fans of one team or the other, given that both like
they were on punt patrol.
Actually, Nebraska didn't like to punt so much. They just like to hand the ball to the other team.
Yeah, that's true.
Here you go.
This is quicker.
Time to fumble.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, they were Iowans, so we just need to know like what part of Iowa.
They were Iowans. We know that.
Love punting.
Well, okay. Yeah. That's generally true. Which there's nothing wrong with punting.
At some point they had to realize when they first were shown on TV that they were getting texts and getting blown up like, oh my God, they just showed you. So then they got a little like every punt from that point on, they got even more into it.
Yeah.
Because they knew they were always going to get the camera.
Yeah.
It was good.
Those punt guys were good.
They were awesome. I loved every bit of that.
Bernie retext. He said he did not end up on TV.
Oh, that's all right.
I think we should bring signs back for the Colorado game.
Ooh.
No, it might,
there you go.
It might put
Yeah.
the security on edge
Yeah, you got to be careful there.
because there'll be some people that'll be angry that will have the 94 or 92 anger towards Colorado when they come in here to play.
Oh, no, security has to work.
Got a text from Sean here.
Hi, Sean.
Sec Henry, his senior day game, a guy had a sign that said,
I want to sec you up.
Thanks, Sec. And then the guy next to him had a sign that said, for nothing.
Oh, wow.
It made the big screen.
Thanks, Sec, for nothing. Wow.
Thanks for nothing, Sec Henry. That's tough.
Gosh.
That's not what you want to see on your senior day. I do. That is amazing.
Wow.
Good written.
And it made itself up in the video. Wow.
Gotta find a
Yeah, I thought it was
screenshot
gonna
of
be
that
like
somewhere.
I want to sex you up or something. Wow.
But yet, Sec Henry still lives periodically at men's games.
Sec Henry's
Yeah,
always on
the
the
jersey.
mind because
Yep.
we got the Sec Henry jersey, guy.
Man, that's harsh.
Yeah, tough look. Tough look.
All right,
Sec had a productive career.
What did Sec ever do to anybody?
Yeah, he
More
was
what
okay.
Maybe it's more what
I
he
like
didn't
that
do.
left-handed jumper, Sec Henry.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that.
Smooth.
I wouldn't say thanks for nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you expect out of the guy? Okay.
Let me look up Sec Henry
Thanks
stats.
for nothing. So was the one sign they were actually trying to be like a good fan, and the other was like, "Oh, I'm going to completely bomb this thing."
Maybe that was the plan all along.
Thanks, Sec.
Sec Henry in 09-010, his senior year, shot 37% from three. That's probably
Boom.
like top 10 all time in
Hell
Nebraska
yeah.
history.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's nothing. He averaged 7.5
That's not bad.
points a game.
That's not bad at all.
Thanks for nothing.
That's funny though.
Sec Henry. Oh man.
Why would somebody do that? Not on senior day. Come on.
Hey, Gary, the Chiefs have signed Steve Spagnuolo to a contract extension.
Spags.
64 should be in the Hall of Fame.
We trust. In
4
Spags,
rings
we trust.
as a DC. Forget about his time with the Rams, but 4 Super Bowl victories over the number 1 seed.
Yep. Patriots twice.
But I don't think they put assistant coaches in the Hall of Fame.
No, they should though.
No, how would you even go about, making that clarification?
You'd have to be a coordinator.
Yeah, DCs. I would say then you'd put Buddy Ryan in there. Too.
I don't think the offensive what do they call him? A quality control guy is going into the Hall of Fame.
What if you're the best at the position though?
That guy dominated the quality
Yeah,
control.
the quality
game for
control
years.
aspect of it
He was the
amazing.
best quality control guy. In
The assistant to the traveling secretary.
Asian Joe says the only place I see signs at events anymore is at WWE events.
That is true because
yeah.
they will show them.
They love the signs at WWE.
Asian Joe, rough morning again. Huge Georgetown fan.
Yeah, big Georgetown.
He was at the
guy.
game last night.
Oh, that's why I didn't know that he was a Georgetown guy.
Wow.
I saw
Die
him.
hard Hoya fan.
I saw him. He seemed a little concerned about maybe what was happening out on the floor.
Yeah,
things. So just
I
retrospectively.
give credit to Joe. Joe is hung with his Hoyas. He is not bailing, even though they bailed on their fan base.
Hey, I think they are a little bit better than the last time Creighton played them.
Really?
Yeah.
They had Epps this time.
Okay, so I might be with you. They're really bad. They were when they were here last year. They were
last year. Okay, never mind. I thought you meant like the last.
But they're bad.
No, I did mean the last time they played. I appreciate them not going full DePaul and just turning it into let's put dunks on tape. Like they were still playing basketball, which
not
is
the
good.
smartest team in the world.
Creighton had a good night. Had a really good night last night. Like Creighton played really well.
They did.
It wasn't Georgetown being that
Georgetown
awful.
was bad.
At least that's how Ed Cooley explained it post game.
Yeah.
Then Ed Cooley said some other things that triggered people.
Why'd you do that towards me?
It triggered people.
Oh, Gary, time to gas up the train. Gas it up.
Am I wrong?
It just keeps happening. Just keeps happening.
Gas
and now Ed Cooley brings it up.
Gas up the train.
Ed Cooley starts to talk about it. Now we got to talk about it. Ridiculous.
Just blame Ed.
I am blaming Ed. I'm triggered at Ed. I'm disrespecting Ed Cooley today for the first time. Well, maybe not for the first time, but I did see a guy with an orange shirt in the crowd that said "Divine Providence" on it.
That's pretty good.
How do you look in orange?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Imagine if Georgetown would have won that game.
Yeah.
I mean, they would have had
That'd
to
been
rush
rough.
him off the floor.
Josh would have won his bet.
Someone
I
would
know.
have tried to
I think,
kneecap him.
hey, but you got DePaul coming up.
Got another one against DePaul.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not worried. Not worried.
Okay, so we get
Yeah, they got that
we
one.
get more context on the Sec Henry sign from Husker Hoops Central here. The thanks Sec Henry for nothing deal certainly was planned, as the for nothing sign was flipped up right after thanks Sec Henry sign made the big screen. They just drew him in. Thanks, Sec. Oh, here comes the other guy.
Okay, so they were able to get. They're like, all right, it's on the video board. All right, now extend it.
Dang. On senior day?
Wow, that's harsh.
Coordinated effort.
Best fans in the country.
That really is.
My
That
ass.
is a coordinated attack.
Yeah.
That is a heist.
Wow.
On
Sounds
Husker
like
Vision.
it's personal.
I hope there were no recruits there that day.
I'm sure there was a co-ed involved.
I'm not sure what was going on there. Poor Sec.
You think Sec saw it? I hope he didn't. Jeez.
People remember this. Dan said it still makes him mad to this day that happened. In the comment there.
Did the guys get booed?
I don't know.
Did they get removed?
We'd have to talk
Did they
to
get
them.
removed
Yeah,
from the arena?
Did a yellow jacket get him? I hope so.
I mean, imagine what was going on in the headset at Husker Vision.
Yeah. Like, wait. Wow.
Hey, maybe.
Hey, is anybody?
Let's get some other crowd shots.
Is anybody accountable for that one? By the way, do we have any change in game ops for the?
This is not Big Ten protocol.
The music, the protocol.
Hey,
Play
but
music
so
during
what-
free throws.
right now the limitations on Husker Vision are taken down because we always get the shirtless college kid, male, at games now.
Thank you.
Always.
Yes.
Mhm.
I mean, it's usually in that one end zone, behind the basket that's next to the visiting bench, where somebody will pop up and they'll get them and they'll be shirtless, or they will take their shirt off, or it's a guy that looks like he should be in Goonies.
That has definitely become a thing. Now, I don't know when that trend started, but it basically has gone to, for these crowd shots, you get on camera and then they flip to another thing and then maybe they come back to you because you're doing something crazy. And the next step always is to begin removing clothes. It's time to take your shirt off now. Because you know what happens. The fans love when the fat guy takes their shirt off.
We like
that is true.
And we like
as a society, we love that.
And they do this thing, and I think it's intentional, when they will scan the student section for people that aren't paying attention, and next thing they realize they're on the Husker Vision, and they start waving.
Yep, time to take my shirt off now.
That happens everywhere. I've seen that at a Creighton game. I've seen that at Nebraska. I've seen it at Baxter as well. Is it intentional, or is it like, well, we just need to get some shots from this area? Are you really trying to like punk them out?
I think they're just trying to find anything that's interesting.
That's kind of what I think too. Yeah. It's like, hey, let's see if we get a reaction.
Guy taking his shirt off is interesting.
No, and fat guy taking shirt off is even better. We as a society, we love it. We love it. It's so funny. We love it.
Oh, I would tend to disagree.
No, I'm telling you, it's like, oh, that guy's having a good time and he don't care.
Raise that thing up.
Yeah.
Petey Pablo swinging around your head like a helicopter.
It's fun. Usually makes the highlight shows.
Well, the best one is the meme that is out there of the guy at the North Carolina State game, which he was hanging on the goalpost. No, he was hanging on some pole in the student section. He was a bigger fella, took off his shirt and he's waving it around.
It's the only move.
Yeah. Schaefer used to do it up in the 300 section before he met Shelby.
Oh, wow.
He used to take his shirt off and he'd do the helicopter. Like, people look forward to it.
What's the next evolution of that? What happens?
Shelby and Mike? Or
I feel like we've done enough of.
His name is Hudson.
We've done enough fat guy taking their shirt off. What happens next? What's
That
the
is
next
true.
cool camera thing that you do?
Oh,
I think the shirt off.
doesn't involve fat guy.
The shirt off, and then the rip away pants, and you're wearing a Speedo.
That would definitely be a next evolution of it, for sure.
But the conversation in Husker
Hope we
Vision
don't
in the
get there.
director's booth would probably be like, nope. Take five.
At a certain point, you just got to let it kind of happen. It's funny. The crowd shots are there for the entertainment. Guy wants to rock a Speedo. He's taking the effort.
Yeah.
A lot of support here for Sec Henry today.
Yeah.
So
we have to respect Sec Henry.
There needs to be.
He's going to stay at the top of my list when, you get into these conversations about who is the most random Husker basketball player. Like I'm going to go to bat for Sek Henry.
Sek
I'm going to
Henry
keep Sek Henry in the conversation.
always gets mentioned in that conversation. You have to mention Sek Henry. My favorite random Nebraska ball player. Well, people always mention, like Richard Van Polgeest. That's a good one. I always liked the guy. He was probably late Doc, early Tim Miles. Caleb something. He was a guard, and he couldn't really do anything except for jump really high. He was awesome. What was that guy's name?
Caleb something who could jump really high. I wonder if I can Google that.
If Husker Hoop Central is still listening,
that was before I moved back.
They know what I'm talking about.
I thought when you started down that road, you were going to drop an Andre Almeida.
The
Brazilian Steakhouse.
The Brazilian Steakhouse is fantastic. Jorge Brian Diaz, a little too mainstream for me, honestly.
You need that random, like Mike Peltz type guy. That is hanging out at the end of the bench.
Fat Tony McRae. Because there's Tony McRae and then there's Fat Tony McRae.
Hey, so one of the more random ones I've heard at a game.
Caleb Walker.
Oh.
I love that guy. He didn't do anything except for dunk. He was sweet.
I was a couple of guys sitting behind me at the Ohio State game. I don't know if they were doing this intentionally, but they went through just guys, dudes naming dudes.
You have to.
They dropped a Bo Spencer.
Bo Spencer was awesome.
I love Bo Spencer.
Bo Spencer dropped.
That
Bo
guy
Spencer
did not
probably
miss a
averaged
shot that he did not like.
He probably averaged like 23 points a game that year. And they beat. That was the year they beat Indiana, and Gus Johnson was there, and they were rushing the floor. That was what? That was the year. I think that was the year before they went to the NCAA tournament, right? No, that might have been even the year before that.
Bo Spencer, senior year.
15.4.
Yep.
15.4. So you had.
He was a bucket getter. He was he transferred from LSU? Is that right?
I think that's right.
Correct.
Yeah. Bo Spencer, Tony McRae, Dylan Talley.
Chris says my answer to any Nebraska basketball player trivia question will always be Jose Ramos. Wink, wink. There was a wink, wink.
David Rivers is a good one.
Yeah, that is. David Rivers. He was an integral part of that NCAA tournament team.
He was a starter.
He was a big.
Or
didn't give you a lot of points.
He was first guy off the bench.
First guy. Yep, 6 man. Didn't give you a lot of points, but he occupied some space.
Christian Stan Hardinger,
defensive guy. Oh, there you go,
yes.
Stan Hardinger. Stan Hardinger ended up playing for. He transferred. Was it to? It was a California school, I thought.
Let's see where Christian.
Or was
Stan
it
Hardinger
Hawaii?
ended up.
Might have been Hawaii.
I wouldn't.
Hawaii is correct.
Hawaii. Okay.
I think he's probably a guy to leave alone in a discussion.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what you're referencing personally.
Just keep that moving.
Okay. Well, he did leave and ended up at Hawaii,
mm-hmm.
where he averaged 18 points a game his senior year. Nice job. That's all I know.
We have a listener who asks a question. Like Chris said, my answer is Jose Ramos. Somebody has asked, I'm not totally familiar with Jose Ramos. I know that he didn't play much in the 90-91 season, but why is he mentioned all the time? Do we respond or we just let this go?
Well, I think people just like naming the most random guys.
Okay. That's how I would answer it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wore a full-length mink coat with a Sixers logo on the back.
Badass.
Guy from Miami. Yeah.
Awesome. Was it as good as Trey Palmer's coat that one day?
It was close.
He was hilarious. Hilarious. Some really funny guys have come through. Nebraska basketball is a treasure trove for that stuff. Who are these random guys?
That were here for a cup of coffee and gone?
Yeah. Well, Werther played here for 4 years and probably never really did much of anything.
And then you get to senior day and you're like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for nothing, Sek Henry. Miles Hawley, Sean says.
Yeah, there's going to be some players off of Fred's first year here that are going to fit that bill.
Oh, that is, yeah. Give it like 5 more years and we'll start naming guys from Fred first year and we'll be like, wow, what happened? Guys.
Mack and you guys can go from there.
Yeah, Cam Mack, Hanif Cheatham, Deshaun Burke, Gervais Green, Kevin Cross.
Who is still playing college basketball, right?
My personal favorite, Matej Kavas.
That was, and that member was supposed to be like the ultimate sharpshooter, like the first one of the Fred era.
Indeed.
Matej Kavas. Like, man, it just sounds like a guy who could probably drain threes. It's going to be sweet. Yeah, he didn't do much.
Matej Kavas. Played 3 years at Seattle, where he was a prolific 3-point shooter. 45, basically 40%, 46%, and 46%, and then came to Nebraska and shot 34%. It was good. Oh, who was the other guy from the next year's team who made all those threes before he came here? Oh, Lat Man.
Yeah.
Lat. The whole big story with him is like, Fred was like, I'd never seen a guy who's made 90. He made 94 out of 100 threes in like a dribble transition drill. I'm like, whoa, that's insane.
So I just looked up the 1920 roster online on Huskers.com.
Oh, could be fun.
1920, yeah.
So you know how that season ended?
Oh, sure.
They left Noah Vedral and Brant Banks on the roster.
Hell yeah, they did.
So if you go to their roster and go, man, I wonder about that team in 1920. Who's this Vedral guy? He's still on the roster.
Does it have the picture of Fred Hoiberg where his head is just buried into his hands?
It doesn't.
And everybody using hand sanitizer.
Oh God,
next to him?
The Armand Gates where he's just like, you're like, is Fred like literally dying in front of us? And all of a sudden, as that's going on, we're all scared because things are happening. Armand Gates like,
what a horrible!
I better put some hand sanitizer on.
And we are now less than a month away from a 4-year anniversary.
Yeah, about almost exactly a month. It was March 14th, right?
Remember the venom that Fred Hoiberg got that night?
Oh yeah.
Oh, people were like, how irresponsible can you be?
That was the same night. All this happened on the same night, and this all exploded. It was Fred Hoiberg and Tom Hanks. Everyone said that Tom Hanks had COVID.
Yeah, I thought he was dying.
And Rudy Gobert after he touched all the mics.
Yep. When he licked the mics or whatever, which was just weird to begin with. But yeah. I mean, you talk about a really
What a stupid time.
What a terrible time to get the flu. I mean, if you were getting the flu during that time, my gosh, people didn't. Oh, they were just scared out of their mind.
Samari Curtis. There's a guy. There's a guy on that team. This is Samari Curtis.
Yeah.
Ivan Ouedraogo.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Ivan
Ouedraogo.
I saw Ivan play in an NCAA tournament game in Denver last year for Grand Canyon.
Ivan Ouedraogo.
I watched it with my own eyes.
I saw him play the year because he transferred to Dayton.
He transferred again?
Well, no, before he ended up at Grand Canyon.
22-2 this year.
No, you're thinking of a different guy. There was a guy who ended up at Dayton, but it wasn't Ivan. It was another one.
I did a game. I did a Dayton game, and I talked to the guy. You sure it wasn't him?
So I'm looking at his page, Ivan's page. Nebraska, Grand Canyon,
okay.
And this year he is playing at Cal Baptist.
How old is he?
Did you know about this? Well, remember he was only 12 when he got here. That was the whole discussion point with him. Gosh, somebody ended up at Dayton. It might have been him, and then he never played. It never happened for him.
Oh, Shamanga.
Jordy
Shamanga.
Jordy T.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you want to talk about some random dudes.
Yeah, every now and then would have a good game.
Delano Banton's wrecking the G League right now.
Saw that. Have we checked in on goggles yet this year, Mr. Wilhelm?
Yeah, where is?
Oh, Brian Bob?
He's at Washington, right?
I thought he's at one of those Cal Baptist type schools,
or maybe Cal. Let's see. No, he's at Washington, where he has started 7 out of their 24 games. Washington's pretty good, right? Or they're like okay, averaging 5.5 points a game.
Pac-12 team could be.
Wilhelm is doing okay for himself.
Good on him.
Good,
because he looked like a giraffe on skates.
Yeah, they never really
found a role for him.
Yeah, you never really got that one to kind of level out.
Very popular guy because of the look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Loved as a huge Taylor Swift fan.
Oh,
of course.
Washington 13-11.
He's kind of got he kind of has the Robbie Avila, the Indiana State look. And so anytime you wear rec specs and you're, a big man, I think people expect you to be sort of an offensive presence.
Yeah. This is what they're trying to get rid of in the NCAA tournament. They're trying to get rid of our mid-major darlings who has the fat guy who drops 20 points a game.
Oh yeah.
And they're trying to get those people out of the tournament.
True.
What are they? True. oh, the best teams don't play for a national championship. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
I love Greg Sankey. I disagree with this, but who's going to stop them?
Nobody. That's the problem.
Yeah,
that's the problem with this whole thing. Eduardo Andre.
Oh,
See, what we need to do is we need to get Husker Hoops Central on the day in the summer where it's just dudes naming dudes
and just talk
and
about
we'll just do Nebraska basketball dudes.
That would be perfect. That would be perfect. I'd love
some names you might think they're making up.
I'm going to put that in my calendar for July something right after the College World Series.
Most random Nebraska basketball
hours
dudes
of guys naming dudes.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, yep. But this is where we encourage everybody to join in with us.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
You can call in and name some dudes.
Name some dudes.
Maybe
There's
tweet, text, whatever.
no better area to explore than Nebraska basketball.
It's very true. It really is true.
Ed says Roy Enright.
Yeah, of Pride of Omaha Burke, Josh Hodson's alma mater right there.
I believe that
Chris Despain.
Did Roy
was
come back and he was the security guard at Burke?
Seriously?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'd be an intimidating presence.
Sure.
Josh wasn't familiar with the security
guards. Roy is what, like 6'8"?
For someone who is longing to go into the Burke Hall of Fame, I would think you would know everything about Burke.
I don't know. That's not necessary.
Were you friends with Jason DeRusso?
But that's what you want to, because I
was friends with his sister.
I mentioned.
Oh, there's another random.
I mean, it didn't
Nebraska
help because
player.
he's now former athletic director. But I mentioned that I work with somebody that would like to be in the Burke Hall of Fame.
Yeah, start greasing those wheels, everybody.
Is that not true?
I do want to be in the Hall of Fame.
All right, so it was good, but he's not there anymore.
Do you think Rod Cush knows everything about that school? No, he's in.
Oh, Crusher's Burke alum? Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Crusher.
Yeah, but you don't have a furniture store that was named after you.
I haven't done a lot of the things that Rod Cush did.
All right. What do you got coming up on the show?
Remember that house that used to be out there?
Yeah.
Hey, he had.
Oh, yeah.
He had some big parties.
Yep.
I bet he
did. There was one in particular. Yes.
Yeah, that's the book on him. Yes.
I have never seen firefighters more excited to practice with a house burning in that place.
Yep. It's been a couple different things since.
Bo Reed.
Oh,
Bo Reed's well known.
Yeah, it doesn't go into the random category. I don't think.
I'm just when you mentioned Roy Enright, I'm thinking of that Burke team that had DeRusso, Enright, and then Chris Despain, who played at Omaha, who was pretty good too. They had some dudes.
And then Grand Island decided to utilize the no shot clock rule. Yeah, I remember.
You know what? I was calling that game. I remember doing that game on one of our sister stations here.
You know, I'm very excited. Speaking of what's coming up on the show today, I'm very excited to talk to Kyle Perry, who's coming on the show today. I was like, you know what? We want to talk to Nebraska baseball. I want to talk to Kyle Perry. This guy's been around for 40 years.
Oh, Gary brought up to Lance Harvell. Wait, who did you name? And then here.
Okay, so Brett Sears,
who's
starting on Friday,
Yeah.
will turn 24 in May.
Yeah.
How old's KP now?
He's probably there.
I think he
might be 23.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's as old as Sears.
But here's the thing about KP. And I mean, good on him that he has persevered with all the arm injuries. Yeah. He was a hell of a basketball player at Millard South.
Yeah, he's a good athlete.
He was a great basketball player.
Mm-hmm. Just a great athlete. But yeah, Lance Harvell said, you might be disrespecting Kyle Perry by saying Sears is like
he's definitely taking on the role of the elder statesman.
Yeah,
you know, has the extra year of COVID gone too far when you have a player on your roster that can rent a car?
I think so.
Yep.
I think that's officially the line.
That should be the cutoff. Yeah,
for sure.
Agreed.
All right, boys. Enjoy your afternoons.
You too.
Hey, you too.
I will.
Let us know how the Yum Yums go tonight.
I will. I'll text you live.
You put some cheese in them?
Yeah, I'm sure that's not going to happen. But thanks for the thought.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see see how funky we get with the cheese.
Bob Marley movie. Yay or nay? You think?
I've heard it's not great.
Oh, dang it! Really? I just spent $24 on tickets.
Well,
yeah, I want to see that.
I'm just happy that the actor has said in public that he has not been trapped by Bob Marley. I can't
stop being Elvis. I'm trapped in. I can't do it.
I would just take if they just played all the songs off the Legend album, which is Bob Marley's banger.
Of course.
I mean, I assume that's a large part.
That was what the Freddie Mercury movie was. Let's just play.
Yeah, just have a concert.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm paying to go to the Eras tour.
All right, that's Crossover, powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. We'll start things off next.
That's the Crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone. Mornings with Sharp and Handley.
If you're Iowa women's basketball, you got Caitlin Clark, gives you hope. Yep. Over the weekend, Nebraska softball had their fan day. And lines everywhere.
Yes.
Jordy Bahl gives you hope. All you need is somebody that gives you hope. Maybe Nebraska football has found that guy that gives you hope every time you show up to play a game. Michael Jordan gives you hope. You know that you got a chance. Even if you have your worst night, you're going to have a chance to win a game.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Warming up on Valentine's Day Wednesday. Expect partly to mostly cloudy skies with southeast winds gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour. We'll stay dry through most of the day, though can't rule out a spotty shower, mainly after 8 p.m. in the metro. Highs in the mid-50s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
Betting on your favorite sporting events just got a whole lot easier. Warhorse Sportsbook is now open in Omaha. Save yourself the drive across the river and put your money where your mouth is at Horseman's Park, 6303 Q Street. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-800.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your night. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
All right, Omaha sports fans, are you looking for tickets to live events without hidden fees? Look no further than Tickets for Less with upfront pricing and no service fees at checkout. TicketsForLess.com is your ultimate source for tickets to the biggest events, including sports, concerts, and more. Plus, Tickets for Less is local. All you have to do is download the free Tickets for Less app, easy browsing of the hottest events. Plus, when you use the promo code THEZONE, you can save on your next order. Every seat holds a story. Find yours and save with the promo code THEZONE now at TicketsForLess.com.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of DIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer and Josh Odson with you. Today, we start baseball season.
Baseball.
There is a baseball flavor to the show today. Ed Servais will join us here in just a couple minutes. The head Creighton Blue Jay who will begin his 21st season in Baltimore on Friday. I know Gary and Nick asked him yesterday morning, but we're gonna make him say it again. What are you doing? Why are you going to Baltimore?
You need to answer for this.
It's a good reason.
Frequently.
This is a good reason. People keep asking. And Ed will keep answering the question. So we'll ask him in a couple minutes. And we'll talk to Kyle Perry, the aforementioned Husker baseball pitcher who's been around the block a few times. We'll talk to him about Nebraska baseball this season. I think, Kyle's got probably some player coach to him. A little bit of that. He's seen a lot. He's done a lot. And he's been through a lot in his Nebraska baseball career as the Huskers get going this weekend in Texas as well. Elsewhere, Mitch Sherman of The Athletic will join at 11:30. Robin Washut at 12:30 today. That's the lineup powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Also, we have the tweet bag. So we're jam-packed today. Get your tweet bag questions in because there is stakes. $50 to cops on the line. We told you that you could get the zone deal on Friday, which is great. And you should do that, especially if you don't, win the $50 to cops on the show today, but you do have an opportunity to just ask a question on the show, Twitter at Happer Show, and you can get that faux free 99.
Can I lay out a scenario for the people listening?
Tell them.
You ask us a silly, stupid question on the tweet bag. I get back to you after the show and I say, hey, I got $50 to cops. You come and get it. You come and get it this afternoon. And then you go and get cops and you bring it home to your loved one and say, hey, no need for you to cook tonight. I took care of it. I asked some yahoos on the radio.
I took care of it.
A stupid question. And I took care of the Valentine's Day dinner. I got pizza. I got wings. We're good to go, honey.
All of a sudden, you're a hero.
Mm-hmm.
So we could give you the tools to make that happen for you.
All because you've asked us, hey, have you ever farted in an elevator with someone?
Perfect. Ask that exact question. Who would win in a fight between a giraffe and a badger?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. At Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Send that in. You could also text them in 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees The Source hotline. That number works to text it as well. And you can email Connor at 1620thezone.com or Josh-O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. We say good morning to our YouTube streamers today. Hello, YouTube, 1620 The Zone TV, or easily accessible to watch at 1620thezone.com. Right there on the front page. Right there. Elsewhere, we'll talk about the Jays last night, who handles Georgetown. Baylor Shireman makes history. Trey Alexander shoots it well. People keep trying to dunk on Ryan Kalkbrenner. It's very weird.
Odd strategy.
And there was some... last night, I mean, with all due respect, of course, to Ed Cooley, there was like this kind of retrospective look, I guess, at the season in the group. It was like, hey, we need to kind of appreciate this because, the big three of Baylor, Trey, and Kalkbrenner are pretty special and selfless. And there was a lot of that conversation last night. And then Ed Cooley dropped in something that we have to talk about at the end of the press conference there as well. So we will do that. Make sure everybody respected Ed Cooley and drank responsibly last night at the Chai, as I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
And our own Connor Happer was getting buckets.
As I do, Josh.
Saw this on Twitter last night.
As I do. Thank you. This is how you know Rob Anderson's good at his job, because he got the one that I made, which is really nice. He could have done a variety of different things with me out on the court by myself prior to the game. John Bishop, on the other hand, decided to get me clanking some and turned it all the way up on the radio. Let's get the couple shots that he missed. Rob Anderson, no. Let's get him drilling a free throw with excellent form, people noted on social media yesterday. So yes, we'll talk about the Jays from last night. Chiefs parade going on today. We'll see what happens. Guys being dudes, getting hammered at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Taylor Swift won't be there, everybody. She's in Melbourne.
There's a lot of buzz in Kansas City. Talking new ballpark, talking Chiefs parade. How many Super Bowls are the Chiefs going to win in Patrick Mahomes' time? So much more. Once again, people trying to change the NCAA tournament.
Don't do that.
Would not advise that. And so there's plenty of things to hit on a jam-packed Wednesday show. Once again, Appreciate it if you guys got in touch. We will open up the tweet bag coming up at noon. But once again, let's dive into baseball. By the way, your voices of the Jays in basically the month of March, the boys of March, if you will be myself and Nick Hanley.
Oh, wow.
We'll be basically taking you through March, taking you through the dog days until we get to some nicer weather downtown.
And then
in
John
April.
Bishop graces us with his presence.
Yeah, nice of you to show up, John.
Wow.
Nice of you to show up. And then once John gets done with his Final Four run, then we'll mix John in. But your boys of March are Connor Happer and Nick Hanley for Creighton baseball.
I feel like a lot of people would have worked both sports. But, I guess if you want to be like Kevin Kugler and only come around for the important games, that's fine.
Speaking of the Jays live last night, I got a tweet here from Whopper this morning.
Hi, Whopper.
And also speaking of my great performances, lost in the shuffle of last night was me going completely unfazed by Whopper and his friend yelling at him during the pregame promo in the Bud Zone last night. A true pro's pro. I'm glad that somebody noticed. I'm glad that somebody noticed. Also, before we take a quick break here, there is some breaking news in the college basketball world that was expected to come down today. It is now being reported. Ohio State has parted ways with Chris Holtmann.
Ooh, didn't even wait, huh?
Dunzo. See you later. So Holtmann went to, this is from Jeff Goodman. How do you look in orange? Holtmann went to the NCAA tournament in each of his first 4 years and was set to go to the tournament the year the tournament got canceled. Went to the tournament in his time at Butler, respected as a coach in the kind of industry, and now Ohio State has completely fallen off the face of the earth. One of the worst teams in the Big Ten this year, even with a halfway decent start to the season. So Ohio State is the first mover in the Big Ten coaches, basketball coaches carousel this year. Who might follow? Ward Manuel, the AD at Michigan, was like, yeah, I think I'm just going to support Jawan. Jawan's doing fine. Interesting.
Sure, we believe that, buddy.
Interesting. We'll see how that one goes. We'll see if there's any more movement around the conference as we get into March and April. Coming up next, we'll talk to Ed Servais. What? You have something?
Oh, I was just going to say, what a weird time to fire your coach. Hey, new guy, interim guy, go out there on Sunday and play Purdue on CBS.
Maybe you can get a little bit of that new coach effect, you know, that new coach buzz.
Uh-huh.
Hey, we're going to lay out everything out on the line.
Show them that we're not dead.
Yeah, maybe they put together an inspiring performance. Who knows? We'll come back. Ed Servais. We'll talk Blue Jay baseball on the other side of the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Roofing, siding, and gutters. Make the right call with the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
You can find pizza anywhere. But when you want pizza pie piled high with more toppings, that's when you come to my place, Godfather's Pizza. For a limited time, get your hands on 2 of my large one-topping pizzas. Pick pepperoni, beef, black olives, you choose. All this food for only $30. Feed your whole mob without breaking the bank. Hey, it's an offer you can't refuse. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Over the past few years, the COVID-19 pandemic has affected how we live our daily lives. Today, we also face a mental health pandemic that threatens our well-being as we attempt to rebuild our social networks and communities.
The pandemic has reminded us to value family, community, and our human connections. However, it has also left many of us feeling more isolated, confused, and alone, struggling to find meaning amid loss and uncertainty.
Today, 1 in 5 Americans experience emotional and mental health challenges, but many of us do not understand what we are facing or know how to ask for help.
At the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, we understand what you are going through, and we are here to help. Our vision is to build a mentally healthy nation for all. We work every day to eliminate stigma, combat mental illness and substance use disorders, and advance mental health. If you or someone you love needs help, you are not alone. Please visit mentallyhealthynation.org to learn more.
The back seat. Check the back seat. All right, come here. Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. But with changes in routines, distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. So get it in your head.
Check the back seat.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Omaha native Frankie Fiddler is top 20 in the NCAA Division I scoring and leading the Omaha Maverick men's basketball team in a run for the conference title. The Maverick men are at home against South Dakota on Thursday and South Dakota State on Saturday. And Maverick hockey only has 4 regular season home games left on February 23rd and 24th when they take on Colorado College in a top 20 matchup. Let's pack the Baxter. Get your tickets now. Call the box office at 402-554-MAVS or omavs.com/tigs.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that we can give our daughters everything they need to grow and learn. But not every child can focus on classes and play dates.
Nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. face hunger. That's 1 in 6. School lunch might be their only meal each day, and it's heartbreaking to imagine any child going to bed hungry. We're dreaming of a perfect day when kids can smile, play, and just be kids without worrying about where their next meal will come from. Feeding America is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Over the next couple days, we'll be talking with representatives from all of our local schools, including today with Creighton and Nebraska, and tomorrow with Evan Porter of the Mavericks. The Blue Jays are getting ready to go in Ed Servais' 21st season here at the helm as they go into it once again. And they are at Coppin State this weekend. Ed Servais joins us now on the 42 Degrees The Source hotline. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing great.
So we have to dive into this first. One of the things that we usually talk about with the local coaches when we have them on before the season is like scheduling philosophies and how do we come to this and how do we get this series? And so I looked at your guys' schedule a couple months ago and then tried to map it out a little bit. And I thought, that's interesting. You don't really see a northern school head even further north for their first series of the year. How did you end up in Baltimore for your first weekend?
Well, scheduling is always interesting. The first 5 or 6 weeks of the season, you know, everybody's trying to get south and find games and find tournaments and those kind of things. And one of the things I've tried to do, some years it works out, others it doesn't, is to try to play in conditions that are somewhat similar to what we're going to play when we start to play games at home. You know, which is normally temperatures in the 40s. You might touch a 50 now and then. So you're going to play probably, 30 to 40% of your games in those conditions. So why not prepare your team by opening the season up if you can find a place that's dry in those cooler temperatures? And if you really look at our past schedules, I know last year we opened up in Louisiana, but 2 years ago it was Portland.
Yeah.
About 4 years ago it was Seattle. And the common thing with these situations are the temperature is somewhat similar to what we're going to have to play in up here, and they're turf fields. So I know we don't have to deal with, the possibility of moisture and not getting games in. So this Conference State thing became available. I reached out to them and said, hey, what is the likelihood of us being able to get that first weekend series in? He goes, we've done it in the past. We did it last year. I looked at their schedule. It was true. They did play at home last year, the first weekend. So I said, let's do it.
Do you have to explain it to your guys why you're not going to Florida, Texas, Arizona like everybody else? Or are they are they good with it?
I probably would have to if it was like the fourth weekend.
Yeah.
But they're so anxious to play right now.
Yeah.
They would play anywhere, any situation, whatever. They just want to play. They put in their time. They worked hard in the fall. They worked hard in these preseason workouts. They want to play. And I think they trust that I'm going to try to put them in a situation where they have a chance to be successful. So they know it's a turf field. They know the temperatures are going to be very similar to what we've been practicing in here the last week and a half. So, maybe I got lucky this year. It could have been bad out there, but
yeah.
I think we're going to walk into a situation that we're going to get our games in, and it's going to be in like conditions that we have here in Omaha.
Well, that's another thing that we're going to hit with all of our, all the local representatives that we have on from our baseball teams around here. I mean, the weather's been really, really great. And if you have a space outside where you can get outside, like every year we talk about this with you guys, like how much were you able to get outside and how much does that affect you going into your first set of games? And like it's not only that you've been able to get outside and do something, not just play catch, but like you guys have done some real work outside over the last couple weeks.
Yes, we have. We've only had 3 indoor workouts.
That's crazy.
So that's probably happened one other year in my time here in Omaha at Creighton University. So I actually enjoy indoor workouts. I'm sure the players don't,
right?
But I enjoy them because there's a lot of teaching taking place indoors. You have their attention a lot easier inside than you do outside. Now, that being said, I don't want to practice inside for 3 weeks, but I like 3 or 4 days of it like we had this year. Gives us a chance to review everything that we talked about in the fall before we start to put them in like game situations. But when you don't get outside, it's really difficult to prepare your outfielders. It's really difficult to prepare your relay cuts and relay system that you have. It's really difficult for your players to get comfortable with communication, whether it be the fly ball situations or cuts and relays or whatever. So it has been nice. We have a turf field here on campus, so we were able to move the snow and get out real quick. And obviously the snow's been gone now for a while, so we've been actually able to give our hitters some live at bats. And some years we've not been able to do that.
Well, you get to see. I imagine it's advantageous for you as a coach too, because you get to actually see how it looks. Obviously, it's great to go through preseason stuff and drill them, and like you said, have their attention. But at the same time, you get to see actual baseball and see how guys react in situations. At least a little bit this time around. Like how advantageous might that be? Not just in the early part of the season, but to sort of have a higher level of a starting point to where you kind of know what you're going to get, or at least have a better idea of what you're going to get first weekend instead of, hey, let's just kind of roll the ball out there and see what we got. Coach? I think we might have lost him real quick there. All right, we'll try and get Ed Servais back here momentarily. But yeah, I mean, this will be a thing that we talk about with we'll talk about it with Evan Porter tomorrow too. But they've been able to get outside and do some things, and I just imagine that helps you tremendously from that standpoint as Creighton will get going. So I mean, I wonder if it'll have an effect just for Northern baseball teams in general, and maybe you just see an easier, simpler start to the season for those schools rather than, I don't know, maybe your traditional slow starts. But as we welcome back Ed Servais. Ed, I don't know what you heard of the question, but you
talked about the advantages of being outside and senior players in a kind of a more game-like scenario, and really when we don't get outside, which happens the majority of the time, it normally takes you about 3 to 4 weeks to really get a feel for your team because, like you mentioned, you're not seeing them in baseball situations. With us being able to get outside, hopefully we've sped up that process a little bit. So it's not 4 weeks, it's maybe 2 weeks before we get a real comfort level of what players can do and what they can't do. And I think it's especially important with this year's team because there's so much parity within this group. There's so much depth within this group. It's going to be hard to figure out who deserves the playing opportunities. So I'm glad we've had a chance to get outside.
Ed Servais is with us, Creighton baseball coach. All right, so let's talk about your team this year, and I guess we'll kind of start with last year. What were sort of the lessons learned and the takeaways from a year ago? And you mentioned the depth piece might be a little bit more there this year. You guys were kind of trying to find combinations that worked for you on the mound as last year went along. I guess what'd you take away from that is applicable to what we're going to see this year?
The big lesson we all learned last year, and we've talked about it with our team 2 or 3 times, is we did not get better as the season went on. That is not the case with most of our clubs here. We find ways to get better. We take practice serious. We try to develop our players. For whatever reason, and we could spend a few hours trying to talk about that and dissect it, we didn't get better. We played some of our best baseball at the front end, and normally it's just the opposite. We're playing our best baseball at the back end. So I've kind of preached to our players that we have to look at this practice situation and put more intent and more behind it because we need to develop. That's kind of the history of Creighton baseball. As the program gets better, the team gets better, week by week. And then by the time you get into May, they're playing at their highest level. So that's the lesson we learned. But we also, learned that we need to have more depth within the team. We had a few injuries, and everybody does, and that's not an excuse. But we just didn't feel like the players behind the injured players were quite ready to go at this level. So I think we've, based on the information I gathered from the fall ball in these first few weeks of the preseason, I think we've addressed that in a positive way. And it's good for coaches. Sometimes players don't want depth. They want to know that every day they're going to have a chance to play. And I don't think that's going to be the case this year. There's going to probably be a little bit more accountability there, and we're going to have to look at that as to why a player plays and why he doesn't play.
You think about Creighton baseball and the identity that you guys have built. It's obviously built on pitching and defense and aggressive on the base paths as well. I guess what kind of group, as you try and figure out what this version of this team's identity might be, does it go along those lines and sort of the way you like it, or what's the sort of special piece about this group that you like?
Well, we're going to be able to play defense. We do return a lot of guys, our starting third base and our starting shortstop. Kyle Hess, who was injured last year, who was our starting third baseman 2 years ago, we've moved to second base. So we have a lot of experience. Hogan Halesko, who's been a starter this will be his 3rd year behind the plate. We got Nolan Sailors, who's been a 3-year starter in the outfield. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to be able to continue to see that high-level defense that we've seen throughout the years here. Pitching, I think we have depth. We may not have that one standout guy that we can think is going to get us 7 or 8 innings every time out, but we have a lot of depth. We have a lot of options. People who know our program know I like to use the bullpen, and I think we have a lot of options in our bullpen. And then from an offensive standpoint, it's a nice blend. I think we have some athleticism, which we can do some things on a base path, and I also think we have some power. So it's going to be a nice blend. We'll see how it all plays out here. Hopefully, we'll find out some more about that this weekend. But I think we're going to be a tough team to defend, and at least I hope so. Because we can attack you in different ways. We're not just one-dimensional.
Yeah, I assume your takeaway was sort of the same on this. But one, if there is a positive, one of the positive pieces of going so deep into your pitching staff last year, you had some injuries and guys who just didn't throw it well. But you went way deep into that last year. And now you have a lot of those pieces coming back and assumingly are ready for bigger roles sort of on the pitching staff, whether it's weekend rotation guys or guys that you can trust in relief as well.
Well, we got, our bullpen with Mason Cook, who threw, right around 9 or 10 innings last year, and Shane Curtin, a left-hand pitcher who threw about the same as freshmen. They are more than ready to take on a bigger role. Those guys will be in a lot of high leverage situations throughout the year. And they're only sophomores, and even though they only have, 9 or 10 innings under their belt, they had good summers. They went out and played summer ball. They garnered a lot of experience doing that. And they came back with a tremendous amount of confidence compared to where they were at this time last year. So those are two guys that we're going to lean heavy on that we didn't lean on last year, but they did get their feet wet a little bit toward the second half of last season because of some of those situations that you talked about. But those are guys you're going to see in some really tough situations in late games, and I think they're gonna do okay.
That power piece that you mentioned in the lineup, it started to show itself a little bit at the end of the year. I think you probably were wanting maybe some more consistent, at bats out of guys, but the power sort of flashed toward the end of the year. Obviously, a guy like Grace was banged up kind of throughout the entirety of last season. You had to sort of work your way through that. But there was a couple other guys, Ben North came along, Kobe Canales hit a couple home runs. Like there were some guys in that lineup that started to flash some power. Like how do you get the power piece with a little bit more consistency and getting on base too with those type of guys?
Well, I think power sometimes comes with experience.
Yeah.
And Jack has a lot of that. Jack Grace has a lot of that. So we're banking on him to provide some of that for us. Ben North having a year under his belt. He's a much, much better offensive player than what he showed last year. Has a lot of power. Just needs to understand how to hit a little bit. And he also needs to understand how to control the strike zone. And then we recruited a couple guys that we believe are going to be nice pieces for us in that area. Teddy Dieters, a transfer from Xavier, will be our starting right fielder. And then Will McLean, a transfer from UMass. These are physical players that it's fun to watch these guys take BP. It's fun to watch them play in some of our inner squads because they look a little different. I mean, they're gonna pass the eye test, and not only do they pass the eye test, they're pretty good baseball players too. So I'm looking forward to those guys, along with Jack, along with Ben, providing us a little bit of power when that's needed.
Well, I was going to say, I really noticed that, toward the end of last year that the team sort of started to take on a little bit of a different shape, just as far as the physicality. Is that like, I don't know, I mentioned earlier, you think of Creighton baseball and it's sort of built on defense, and you guys will still have that capability. But like, where is that just by I don't know about luck of the draw. That's probably not the right word to use, but the physicality piece that you guys have sort of introduced to the program, bigger guys who can hit for power a little bit. Where does that come from? Is that something that you wanted to add a little bit more into the mix?
Yes, we did. And when you see us play, you'll notice that right away. It'll jump out at you. Now, some of that has to do with these are older players too now. We have a lot of juniors and seniors on the team, and obviously they're 22, 23 years old, so they're going to be more mature, more developed than an 18-year-old. But it will jump out right away that this team is much more physical than some of our teams. It reminds you a little bit maybe of the 19 team that had a lot of physicality and could drive the baseball and score in a bunch of different ways. This team has that capability, but when you recruit, you're trying to blend the physicality with athleticism. Because the thing I like about our game, since we made some of the adjustments with the bat and the ball, is it's much more athletic than it was years ago. And I think that's what fans want to see. They want to see athletes on the field. They want to see athletes perform, no matter what sport it is. And so we're trying to recruit not only physical players, but athletic players. And I think we've done a better job of that here recently. And I think that's what you're going to see when you see this club this spring.
Ed Servais, head coach, Creighton baseball, getting going for their for Coach Servais's 21st season on Friday at Coppin State. They are at home on Tuesday, March 5th against UMass Lowell for their home opener. Coach Servais, appreciate the time as always, and we'll see you at the ballpark.
Thank you. Bye now. That's
Ed Servais, the head coach of the Blue Jays, once again at Coppin State this weekend. It's a scheduling thing that like, it's obvious. It makes sense. And he's right. I guess I didn't really think about it that way. I mean, they've gone to the Pacific Northwest in the first couple weekends of the season recently. But I wonder, as sort of starting on a thought while we were trying to get him back there at the beginning of the interview after we lost him. And I'm sort of thinking about the weather that we have had. And I don't want to do too much with this because it's still about how good you are at baseball. And it probably only matters for the first couple, for the first month, I guess, of the season until those northern teams get home.
Right.
But I wonder what the general effect on the good weather that we've had for the last month will be generally on Midwest teams. Because what they'll do, what you'll see a lot of, and Nebraska is one of these teams, is they'll go and play really tough competition right out of the gate, and you don't know anything about yourself. And you are thrown into the fire, and the positive part is you figure out who who can do it, who can be in those games and be in those situations. But the negative side is you lose games, and your RPI suffers, and then you're talking about having to win a conference tournament to get into the dance. And, that's something that's happened in the Big Ten and in the Big East. So I wonder if there's some bigger wins to be had out there just because of the familiarity with the outdoors and, getting closer to your stride earlier this year for, Creighton, Nebraska, and Omaha. I imagine that's the case. I don't know if it'll really be obvious or evident, but maybe there's another win or two out there that could really help improve RPI toward, when you start thinking about that sort of stuff in May.
It's got to make it a little better, right?
It won't hurt.
Yeah.
Right? Won't hurt. So that's one of the storylines college baseball wise we'll keep an eye on. Kyle Perry will join us later in the show at 1. And Evan Porter will join us tomorrow as they are off to Jonesboro, Arkansas for the weekend. The Mavs have used their lovely turf field at Tal Anderson Field over the last couple of weeks and really gotten ready to go in that regard. All right, good stuff. And once again, Jays are on the radio when they're at home, whether it's here on 1620 The Zone or 1180 The Zone or Coil.
That'll be in about 3 weeks.
That'll be in about 3 weeks. And the boys of March will get you there. That's Connor Happer and Nick Hanley rocking you out.
This is an instance where if I had the capability to produce music, I would make some type of Boys of March parody song.
I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just going to be two dudes talking ball for a while.
Give me that.
College baseball.
Right there.
We're not we didn't go too far down the pitch clock lane.
Mm-hmm.
So as you guys know, from the middle of June, we can get those things stretched out a little bit. So that's all the more time for the Boys of March to keep cooking during radio broadcasts of Creighton baseball, which we'll be doing here in just a few short weeks. All right, we'll come back. Mitch Sherman of The Athletic, he will join us. He was in the house for the Sunday, not the Super Bowl, but the event before the Super Bowl, which was Iowa, Nebraska women's basketball. We'll get his thoughts on Glenn Thomas as he spoke the other day and Matt Rule trying to shove Tony White out the door. Yeah, thank you for laughing because that was definitely sarcastic. Mitch Sherman next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
You know what Mentality can help you with? Low energy, motivation, weight gain, muscle loss, fatigue, tired all the time, feeling anxious, moody, irritability, impatience, anxiety, and depression. Mentality can help you with their board-certified physicians and their testosterone treatments that can take care of you and get you back in the game. You can regain normal function and restore your ability to perform normally at all levels just by Mentality. Set up an appointment today. Go to lowtusa.com. Get back in the game. Don't sit on the sidelines and let Mentality lead the way.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Hey fans, looking for the best seats without the hidden fees? Then you need to check out Tickets for Less. Whether it's Creighton games, Husker matchups, or big-time concerts and events, they've got you covered, all with no service fees. Now, you ready to score a deal? Use the code THEZONE at ticketsforless.com and save on your next event. You prefer to go mobile? Grab the free Tickets for Less app and shop with ease. Every seat holds a story, so find yours and save when you use the promo code THEZONE at ticketsforless.com and the Tickets for Less app today.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
In school sports, it's easy to see the wins, the moments that make headlines. But there's so much work that goes unseen for any of it to happen. My name is Phil Risen, and I'm the Executive Director of the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. Throughout the country, athletic administrators dedicate countless hours to making life-changing opportunities possible for student athletes through sports. Their sacrifice is fueled by the belief that every student can grow and deserves their time to shine. On behalf of the NIAAA, we want to thank every athletic administrator for your tireless dedication to providing 7.8 million students across the country a path to a better future.
This message presented by the NIAAA, the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
If you're having problems in the bedroom, talking about it is the last thing you want to do. Same goes for hair loss, anxiety, or even depression. That's where HIMS comes in. Through HIMS, you don't have to talk about it. You can do something about it. Just go to hims.com/start, where you can find a variety of potential solutions for the problems men face every day, and save up to 95% on generic alternatives. The entire process is 100% online, making it incredibly simple, straightforward, and above all, private. If prescribed, treatments made using clinically proven ingredients are shipped directly to your door in low-key packaging. So if you're experiencing ED, hair loss, anxiety, or problems with your general health, you don't have to go to the doctor or the pharmacy or spend all day talking about it. Just go to hims.com/start and do something about it. Get started today at hims.com/start. That's HIMS.com/START.
Who do you want to talk about first?
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
He can play. And we need people that can play.
And we'll never be royal. Let me live that fantasy.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic. On The Connor Happer Show. On 1620, The Zone.
He can play.
All right, we're joined now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline by Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. Mitch, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Connor. I'm well. How are you?
Very good. So you got the chance to take in the spectacle of the Caitlin Clark show, and then it ended up being something different on Sunday. Any thoughts on either the game or what happened after the game?
Well, the game, I thought Caitlin Clark was everything that she's advertised to be, and she did not have a great fourth quarter, and you saw the result. So I think that just validates her greatness, that you got the number 2 team in the country, and it goes clearly as she goes. And I know she had a teammate who scored 47 points in the previous game, so that goes somewhat against what I'm saying, but over the long haul of the season and how far Iowa is able to go in its quest to get back to the national championship game is all about her. And she's that good. It's the first time I'd seen her in person in the arena, and it's more impressive than TV because of how well she sees everything, the whole court, and her passing. You know, the assist numbers are great, but it's just the way that she passes and the way that she sees the whole court from baseline to baseline. And I think that has a lot to do with her ability to score too, just beyond the incredible range that she has. Definitely. So she was pretty amazing for 3 quarters. And it was entertaining to see what happened in the fourth, for sure. How that all played out. I mean, Iowa was walking a fine line with its
Yes, they were.
apparent desire to save her scoring, so she could break the record at home, and ultimately it allowed Nebraska in some way, and Nebraska did things to get back in the game, but some of that, I think, allowed Nebraska to get back into the game and gain some confidence and get Iowa out of rhythm. And it took every bit of that to get out of there with the 3-point win.
And then there was
something happened after the game. I don't
something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I don't know how to describe it, but it was something, that's for sure.
Yeah. I feel like I've talked a lot about this week, but just a Hall of Fame coach making a fool of herself outside of the interview room is really what it was. It's tough to see because Lisa Bluter has got such a great resume, and many times over the Big Ten Coach of the Year, and has won all kinds of stuff, and took her team along with Caitlin Clark to the biggest stage in the sport last year. And then this is what we're talking about, that she's yelling in the hallway about catching flights and Big Ten protocol. But some people are going to know her for that. Some people around here who aren't diehards of women's basketball, and that's the danger in having one of those moments. Or there's nothing good about ever having a moment like that, but the danger of doing it when there's all those eyes on you, and there's a ton of national media in that interview room, and 15,000 people in the arena, and it's Super Bowl Sunday, and everybody's kind of tuned into Twitter and the sports world, and that's what happens. It's a bad look. It's rough for women's basketball, I think, but they'll move on from it, and everyone's going to be talking about Caitlin Clark breaking the record on Thursday night back at home.
Yeah. She definitely didn't mind who hurt her. That's for sure. Kind of lost her mind in that moment. Mitch Sherman of The Athletic is with us. Okay, so let's move on to football here, where you got the chance to hear from Glenn Thomas a little bit, and admittedly, he doesn't, he's not that far along in understanding what he has, or really even what they need to do, but there is a sort of consistent theme when we talk to these coaches, and obviously it all goes back to Rule. They even though that we're really early in this, and Glenn Thomas is trying to figure out exactly what needs to happen in order for Nebraska's quarterbacks to be successful next year, I do appreciate that there is that common theme among all the coaches, and they really, regardless of the position that they play, they really, and I guess I don't know how to explain this other than this, they're kind of just like, they just like talking ball. They're just football coaches, right? And I think that is the main, like when you look at those guys across position groups, like that is really what they're trying to do. They're trying to teach them how to play football, and it's no different at the quarterback position. And it's not about like anything really bigger than that. It's like we got to get to the basics of football first, and then we'll build off of that.
Yeah, there's not an outlier in the group, and the staff fits together very well. Sometimes I think as a head coach, or sometimes head coaches, they look for a guy who can coach quarterbacks, and that's got nothing to do with the guy who coaches the secondary or the offensive line or the linebackers. And with Matt Rule, he wants to play complementary football, and that's probably Nebraska's one of the keys for Nebraska to have success in this bigger Big Ten, is to be able to play complementary football, because it may not have the best offense in the league. It may not have the best defense in the league, but if they work together, they can do things that make them better than the sum of their parts. And it's the same way with the coaching staff. I mean, the only way really that you can play complementary football is to have a complementary coaching staff. So it's not just like him slotting in the best quarterbacks coach he can find and the best D-line coach he can find. It's all of these guys having to work together and being able to be in harmony. And, you heard Thomas on Monday talk about talking the same language from his first day in the office. And really Monday was like his first day in the office, because his contract was dated January 19th, and the Steelers lost in the playoffs on the 16th. So that would make sense. And he was on the road for a couple of weeks up until the dead period started just before signing day last week, and Rule, he works his guys hard, very hard, and he's not an easy guy to work for as a coach or as a person on his staff, but he does give them a few hours off after signing day, which was nice of him. And I know some of the guys were still in the office on the weekend, and a lot of them were going to basketball games. Thomas went to basketball games on Saturday and Sunday. He said at PBA, both the men's win against Michigan and what we just talked about a few minutes ago with the women. But really Monday was their first day as a staff in the office together in working on 2024. And that's the day that he talked to us. So he's right at the beginning of this. There was nothing that we could really get from him that was in depth about, hey, what do you think of the quarterback position, or what do you think of the offense? It was all just, how does this guy fit? I thought he was a hire that was made because of his fit, because of the way that he complements everybody else on the staff, and because of how he folds into the culture that Matt Rule has built.
What does he walk into? And I find it interesting what he walks into in terms of like expectations, considering the following factors, which was the offense not being good last year, the quarterback play specifically not being good last year, all the turnovers, and then the changeover in the room, obviously, which gets an overhaul with a new starter and who's a freshman and a 5-star guy with a lot of talent. I guess what, from an expectation level, it's probably a pretty good situation to be walking into. Now, he's not responsible for the entire offense, but obviously, I mean, it kind of goes without saying, Mitch, that I think the quarterback play is going to be better this year, and it's just a matter of sort of how far they could take it beyond that.
Yeah, I guess you never want to assume anything.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Don't get ahead of yourself. I mean, there have been plenty of times in Nebraska's recent history where you think, well, it can't get worse from here, and often it has. Unexpected things happen. Now, I do think it's going to get better.
Okay, good.
Dylan Raiola coming in is a huge part of the reason why it's going to get better. But there's work to do to get to the place where he's out there on the field against UTEP and is an effective quarterback. I mean, you have to let him do his thing. And I think Glenn Thomas wants to be a guy, and he said this on Monday, who meets these quarterbacks where they are. You'll probably hear a lot of coaches say that if you went around the country and talked to people. But, Matt Rule said something similar in talking about Thomas last week. And I think that really will be his MO in getting to work with these quarterbacks is at the beginning is to get to know them, and then to start to assess what their strengths are. And then you have to play off their strengths. They're not going to try to fit square pegs into round holes. We've seen that attempted and not succeed at Nebraska at times in the past, whether it was on the offensive side or the defensive side. The plan is there, and I think it's a good one. And now the players and the coaches have to get together and make it work. But I do agree that he's coming in a favorable spot for him with the expectations, because there's not a whole lot of direction to go but up. And also because he's working with something of a clean slate. Yeah, Heinrich Harburg has got history at Nebraska, and he started 8 games last season, but he's kind of a clean slate as far as veteran quarterbacks go or experienced quarterbacks go. And then the other 2 on scholarship are true freshmen. And, whatever they did in high school, it doesn't matter right now. Whatever their rankings were, you wipe that away and you start with just their skills and their talent. And he's going to get that and start at square one on March 24th when they hit the field on that Sunday to get out there for spring practice.
Nebraska made it through another round of worrying about if Tony White was going to leave and take another job. Matt Rule has been consistent on this the entire time. He's going to, and it's obvious now, he's going to continue to kind of stump for his guys, and White included. He thinks he's going to be a really good head coach one day. But I guess, how do you feel about Matt Rule and his stance on that, which obviously plays well to coaches who want to coach for him, and just in a certain respect, Mitch, it's kind of simple. Like it's just the right thing to do. He thinks he's a good coach, and he's like, yeah, I think he's going to be a good head coach. If he wants to be a head coach, then we're going to let him go be a head coach. He's been really like effusive in his praise for Tony White. Like, how do you feel about that and his standing sort of where he's at, because this is obviously not going to be the last time that we go through something like this.
Right. 10 months from now, he's probably going to get a job.
Yeah.
So enjoy him while you got him. And I think Nebraska is fortunate that it made it through this coaching cycle. And I think it's over now. I think this is the last time something like this is going to come up. I mean, you could have a stray coach who steps down for whatever reason in April or May. It's happened, but I don't think that's something that's going to involve Tony White at that point. This one was scary for Nebraska. But yeah, I mean, what Matt Rule says and the way that he acts about this, it makes sense. It seems like that's what you should do as a responsible head coach. But there are plenty of coaches out there who I don't think would be vocal in that way, who wouldn't make that call to an athletic director and say, hey, hire my guy. You know, I know my season in large part depends on this continuity and what he can keep going with our team, but I want you to take him away from us, especially to another team that's in the conference and on your schedule next year. In UCLA. So, and we'll be on your schedule regularly. So, that's, you know, I understand. I think it entirely makes sense why Matt Rule does it, but it's another thing. It's one to think, yeah, this is how a coach should act. It's another thing to actually go out there and do it. And, you know, he's done it consistently. Rule has, in stumping for Tony White and being public about his support, and then also going and doing it in private and making his case why he thinks Tony White should be a head coach. That's playing the long game in some part. I mean, first of all, he's just doing the right thing, and he's
right. And I think that's what it is. Like, I don't think it's anything else. It's just that.
Yeah. Well, he's also kind of playing the long game too. It's like, you know, when you do end up losing coaches, you're going to be a head coach that others want to come play for because or come coach for, work for, because they've then seen how you as a head coach can be in their corner to help them advance in their careers. You know, not everybody's going to do that. Not every head coach is going to get out there and make that call to an athletic director in the conference and say, you should hire my guy. So, and I think Rule really, truly, he walks it. He walks the walk and talks the talk. I saw him Sunday at PBA, and he was in the stands with his family, and he was having a good time. And, you know, he wasn't back in the office, you know, secretly trying to talk Tony White into not looking at UCLA and coming up with reasons why, hey, maybe this isn't the right move for you, Tony. You know, I understand that I've said I want you to go out and take advantage of opportunities, but it's February, and maybe no, he was on board. And if they had to go and start a search for a defensive coordinator here on you know, Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, then, you know, he would have been happy for Tony, and he would have went and attacked that task.
Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. All right, Mitch, we'll let you go. Appreciate it as always. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, Connor.
Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. Yeah, I think that's true. Like, I mean, I definitely don't think he wants to get rid of him. You know, my minor critique is that I wish he wouldn't be so vocal about it. Right. But he is. And he's like, hey, if I need to make a call, I'll make a call, and I'll tell him that, you know, I'll tell him exactly what I think the truth is, which I think Tony White is a good coach, and I think he'd be a great head coach. I think he'd be a great hire. And that's like, there's honor, and there's a lot of honor in that.
I think Mitch hit the nail right on the head when he said, you're going to get the best coordinator talent to come here because you know they will be allowed to leave when the time is right.
Yeah, and he has a lot of confidence in what they do too. Mm-hmm. Like he always said, you know, if Tony White's here, if Tony White's not here, we're going to be good at defense because that's what our program will be. We'll be good at defense. But at the same time, while I believe that, and I think that's what they want to be as a program, it's also hard to lose your defensive coordinator going into year 2 when you have so much coming back. Like, it's just not right now. I don't want it to be right now. I want to see this thing through one more year. And I probably won't want it to be next year either, but I definitely want to see what this becomes this year with Tony White. And that's just from a fan's perspective looking at it. All right, we'll come back. Josh will have the odd news. Don't forget to get your questions in for the tweet bag, which is coming up straight up at noon at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. We have $50 to cops on the line, so send those in, and we'll get to it after the odd news coming up on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
An attorney over in Iowa named Van Plum is now requesting that the state of Iowa
Okay, I shouldn't. See, here's a serious story, and you guys are hung up on Van Plum.
That's a character in the board game Clue.
Van Plum did it in the office with a club stick.
What's a club stick?
I don't know. I couldn't think of anything.
Unsportsmanlike conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mid to upper 50s for a high temperature this evening. More clouds working in along with a southeast breeze. By the evening time frame, you're talking about a small chance of a shower. Tomorrow morning, a starting temperature near 30 degrees and eventually warming up to about 41 degrees with a colder northwest breeze. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery. KETV Newswatch 7.
More with Connor and Josh after this.
We're going to have an extensive professional relationship, my man.
On 1620, The Zone.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Creighton Sports Update. Creighton tennis is back. Women's tennis returns to the Hanscom Tennis Courts on Friday at 12:30 p.m. to take on North Dakota. Fans can check out the action for free. For more information or to follow along on all things Creighton athletics, visit gocreighton.com. And that's your Creighton Sports Update.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Sharp, voice of Omaha men's basketball. As the Summit League race heats up and the Mavs are right in the thick of it, they begin a final 3-game homestand against South Dakota this Thursday night at Baxter Arena. We'll be on the air at 6:30 with the pregame, 7 o'clock tip-off over on Newstalk 1290 Coil for the Mavs and the Yotes.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, time for the odd news. Don't forget to get your questions in with the tweet bag coming up momentarily. Use the hashtag tweetbag if you would.
Yeah.
Because I got the little column on here where I could just track those easily.
Oh.
Or you could also text them in as well, 951-1620. But first, Josh, the odd news.
Yes. We begin with just, still stories trickling in from the Super Bowl.
Oh, good.
One of them comes from Mad Dog Chris Russo.
Uh-oh, what's Mad Dog mad about?
Well, first of all, he shouldn't be mad about anything because he re-upped his deal with ESPN today. He will continue to appear on First Take.
For 1 day a week.
1 day a week. He says, when you're hot, keep it going.
He is great on that show.
He really is.
I mean, he's an idiot. Like, he's one of the, but it's good television. As long as we know the difference, then I feel like it's okay to support it.
He even alluded to a lot of those things in the press release for it. He's like, "Hey, we're having fun. It's not hard work. I'm having a career renaissance. What am I going to do? Walk away from it? No."
Good job.
But he did tell a story on his Sirius XM radio show. I don't know if you know this, Connor. The Super Bowl went to overtime. And I don't know if you know this. Mad Dog places a lot of wagers on sporting events.
Yeah, all he does is calls Fat Rob.
He had a number of bets still in flux as the game was in overtime. So he's very nervous. It was a high tension situation. And as someone who talks sports for work, every play could be critical. I gotta be paying the ultimate amount of attention that I can pay a game to the Super Bowl. When his wife came into the room and asked him while the Chiefs are driving in overtime, if they score a touchdown, do they kick the extra point? Because if they do kick the extra point, I win my game of Super Bowl squares.
Oh,
it would be 26-22, and she had a 6 and a 2. She's like, I'm set to win like $10 if we win this. Chris, I imagine she does not call him Mad Dog, where he said, "Okay, you need to get out of the room now, honey."
Dog. What if his wife called him Dog?
Hey, doggy. We get paid if they kick this extra point, right?
So he kicked her out.
He kicked her out. He said, I can't stand this. You're annoying me. It's overtime in the Super Bowl. Yeah, they kicked the extra point. Get out of here.
I really like when my wife asks me questions about sports during the games.
Do too.
It makes me feel really smart.
It makes me feel smart. And I'm going to be doing this regardless of whether or not you're interested in it, honey. You might as well take an interest in it.
Yeah.
And God love her, she has.
There are some times where the answer might be a little bit too layered to really give a straight up answer, and you have to sort of maneuver your things through that. Nobody's and sometimes she's like, "Well, am I annoying you? Do I ask bad questions?" I'm like, "Well, no, you're not annoying me. No. These are bad questions, but I'm happy to answer them."
I will answer any question you have.
Absolutely. That's why it's basically like the tweet bag.
Mm-hmm. But in your living room. Update on Mad Dog's wife. She has not talked to him since this incident. And obviously his wife did not win the Super Bowl squares contest because they do not kick the extra point.
They did not kick the extra point. The game just ended.
I don't know if you know this. I'm sure you do because Tony Romo talked about it and you're not supposed to. There was a streaker on the field for the Super Bowl Sunday.
Yep. I believe he called it a half streaker.
Yes, it was a half streaker, to be fair. And he also addressed that he's not supposed to talk about it, which is how Tony just kind of does whatever the hell he wants in that booth.
It is total whatever is first on his brain. He's bringing.
Alex Gonzalez talked to TMZ Sports about why it is he ran onto the field just hours after he was released. Well, the Super Bowl was in Vegas, and he saw a wager on the board for, will there be a streaker on the field?
Huh.
And he got the idea that he apparently concocted at a UFC event with Dr. Phil. I don't have any answers to your follow-up questions on that.
Yeah, I do have a few.
He said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to place a ton of money on, yes, there will be a streaker, and then I will get on the field and be the streaker and win a whole bunch of money. Well, he got to the sports book, and that bet was no longer on the board.
Yeah.
I
don't think you could bet on that at actual, real, reputable sports books.
He said he was too far committed to not do it.
Actually,
and
you're not.
I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, you're actually not because you didn't invest anything in it.
He said, "Well, I'm in too deep at this point where I can't back out anymore," which is obviously not true at all. They bought cleats. He was wearing cleats, and the third quarter rolled around, and he made his move.
Stop running on the field, guys.
No.
Stop running on the field.
No.
Quick update from Chiefs Parade 2024.
Yes.
So we have Tech Nine, our best friend Tech Nine, who is
friend of the show,
currently on stage yelling some things. the Chiefs are en route to the parade finish, which is at Union Station in Kansas City,
home of the NFL draft,
which is very close to where the Royals' new stadium will be in 3 years.
Oh,
but they have this has been going on for probably about 20-25 minutes now. Willie Gay has been running for miles down the street without his shirt on. There he is. There he is right there. He's being interviewed by a local news station now. He's laying on the ground in the middle of a crosswalk. So watch out for the videos that are about to pop up on Twitter of Chiefs linebacker Willie Gay. Like
he looks like he's holding his hand.
And by the way, he is not wearing shoes. He's only wearing socks, sweatpants, no shirt. He's been running down the street for miles, just jumping around and raising his hands up. He is absolutely, now speaking of weird things that you could bet on, drunkest chief at the parade. Willie Gay's like minus 250 right now. He's got a great start. Head up on his competition. Watch out for that Kelsey. Watch out for those Kelsey boys.
Yeah. I haven't seen any clips of them yet.
I have. They remained on the bus,
sure,
which is probably good for their safety. But it's Mahomes and Kelsey, and they're next to each other, and they're Pat is drinking, of course, his favorite domestic beer, and which I think is Coors Light.
Coors Light, right?
And Travis is drinking out of a giant bottle of liquor. So yeah, it's good. It's off to a good start in Kansas City.
And finally, we go to Maricopa. So this must be Florida.
Maricopa, Florida,
Yeah.
Maricopa County,
Arizona.
Maricopa County, Arizona,
Yeah.
home of Tent Jail.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say. 41-year-old. Now this is a sentence. Prepare yourself. A 41-year-old inebriated man who vomited pizza all over himself and passed out in front of Denny's was arrested on criminal trespassing and disorderly conduct charges.
Why don't you read that again?
A 41-year-old inebriated man who vomited pizza all over himself and passed out in front of a Denny's was arrested on criminal trespassing and disorderly conduct charges.
Why did they have to be so specific about what he puked? Unnecessary.
Good question.
Also, did his puke vandalize, or did he vandalize and then puke?
Great question. I don't know the answer.
Those are my questions.
Bryson B. Lewis was reported asleep outside of Denny's on February 6th when he was approached by Richard Fox, who woke him up to check on him. Lewis woke up and told Fox he was a gangster and began telling Fox to fight him. Police probable cause statement said, then a woman named Donna asked Lewis to leave, and he refused. Police arrived at the scene and saw Lewis was stumbling, unable to keep his balance, slurred his words, and smelled of alcohol.
Interesting.
Cops said he was covered in pizza and had regurgitated food.
Hey, what a sight, first of all. But I got a question for you, Josh. And like we always learn about ourselves a little bit on this segment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure we've all encountered this at some point in our lives. We're having an enjoyable evening in a place where a bunch of people are. Maybe you're downtown, you're going from bar to bar, and you're outside, and you're just out there. And you encounter a man laying down on the street. He appears to be sleeping and drunk.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a guy. He's not like a homeless guy. That's where he lives or anything like that. He's just a guy or a gal, I suppose, laying down on the street, on the sidewalk, passed out. What do you do?
I'd keep on walking. Nothing.
Same.
I'd walk right by him.
Same.
I don't need those problems.
Yeah, I don't tap the guy on the shoulder. There's two ways you could do it. You could try to antagonize him like Mr. Fox did in this situation, or you could try to help, which I'm also not interested in.
So when doing something like this, you need to mentally prepare and create a plan for every possible scenario. There are too many variables in that scenario that you just outlined.
You're totally right.
I can't anticipate what this drunk man is going to do if I intervene.
Move on. Pretend it didn't happen.
Lewis was uncooperative and repeatedly told officers he was a gangster.
Mm-hmm. Who hasn't?
He was taken into custody and faces up to a year in jail.
Well, he did a lot of damage.
Did he, though?
I wonder what would have happened if he wouldn't have puked that pizza all over himself.
The only damage he seems to have done is to himself.
Well, I mean, he got the trespassing thing, right? Or the breaking and entering?
I don't know. It sounds like he was asleep outside the Denny's. Maybe in front of the door, which is a terribly inconvenient place. I understand that.
Maybe he puked in the Denny's and they got him. Willie Gay is now wearing a bear hat, a bear headset.
Nobody's topping this today.
Yeah, we are. We're about to take the drunkest chief off the board, off the board there.
What is this they're wheeling? Is it a podium?
Yeah.
We don't need to see this.
Yeah, people are going to go out there and say some things. It'll be fun.
All right, Chiefs fans.
Here goes Patrick.
How about a 3-peat?
Look at, he's got baggy jeans on today.
Wow.
All right.
Baggy jeans back?
More update from the Chiefs parade if we figure out that it's necessary to do so.
Where's Brittany?
Coming up next is the tweet bag on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Dirk Bentley, Gravel and Gold Tour. They all know why I'm getting drunk on the plane. Live at CHI Health Center on Saturday, August 24th with Chase Rice and Tanner Usry. Dirk Bentley. On sale Friday, 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. Dirk Bentley, live in concert.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I got to change the oil in my car.
Right now, get 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic with an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for only $36.99.
Get in the zone.
What do I do with my old oil?
We can recycle your used oil for free.
Get in the zone.
And do you have oil for my old work truck?
You can find the right high mileage oil to help it go farther right here at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
News Talk 1290 Coil is the home of Omaha Maverick women's basketball all season long. Don't miss any of the Maverick action as they try to make their mark on the Summit League this season. Omaha Mavericks women's basketball is on News Talk 1290 Coil.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
If you're having problems in the bedroom, talking about it is the last thing you want to do. Same goes for hair loss, anxiety, or even depression. That's where HIMS comes in. Through HIMS, you don't have to talk about it. You can do something about it. Just go to hims.com/start, where you can find a variety of potential solutions for the problems men face every day and save up to 95% on generic alternatives. The entire process is 100% online, making it incredibly simple, straightforward, and above all, private. If prescribed, treatments made using clinically proven ingredients are shipped directly to your door in low-key packaging. So if you're experiencing ED, hair loss, anxiety, or problems with your general health, you don't have to go to the doctor or the pharmacy or spend all day talking about it. Just go to hims.com/start and do something about it. Get started today at hims.com/start. That's HIMS.com/START.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
This is the Tweet Bag. You send your questions in and we answer them. Like no other radio segment ever. It's the Tweet Bag on the Connor Happer Show.
All right. We got to go back to Kansas City here real quick.
You're gonna have to deal with the Chiefs.
So we've noticed yet another thing as the players begin to depart their buses and head toward the stage at Union Station in Kansas City during the Chiefs parade. As Mahomes is taking pictures with the crowd and various other things. They also found Isaiah Pacheco doing the most Isaiah Pacheco thing you could do. He still looks like he's playing running back as he's celebrating through the streets. He's running around like crazy. He's jumping. His knees are very high, and he looks angry. That's That's how that's just the
angry runs.
That's just the normal function for Isaiah Pacheco, who is celebrating a Super Bowl. All right. Once again, we'll have more notes from this as we continue on during the show, but let's get to the tweet bag. There's still time for you to get yours in. We're going to open this thing up though at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. If you are deemed to message us a good question or tweet us a good question or email us a good question or text us a good question, and Josh will give you $50 to Cops because he's cool. He's nice like that.
I just got it.
He just has it. So send those in. Josh, what do we have?
We have an email from Mike. This came Thursday, so it's been sitting in my inbox for
good job by you by
6 days,
hanging on there.
And I keep a tight inbox, so I need to get this the hell out of my inbox. Mike asks,
"Hi, Mike.
World famous iconic rock band Kiss had announced a reunion tour. Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer are not rejoining the band. Eric Singer is the Catman. Tommy Thayer is the Spaceman. Paul and Gene, founding members of the band, have reached out to you, Josh and Colin." Yes, he called you Colin.
Love it.
He emailed back a couple days later and said, "Sorry, I meant Connor." "To join the band for this unprecedented and monumental tour with planned tour date stops in Cozad and Arnold, Nebraska. Which spot in the band will you take? Drums, guitars, something else like kazoo, recorder, bongos, jaw harp." Never heard of that one. "Or spoons, anything. And will you develop your own character for the band? What will your character be?"
Wow. So we're getting this back together and we're going to Cozad and where?
Arnold.
I don't even know where Arnold is.
You on it? You on it?
I'm on it. Arnold, Nebraska. Well, you've had an entire week to think about this question, Josh. It's 4 hours away. By the way, it's a little northeast of North Platte.
Okay.
West of Broken Bow. North of Gothenburg.
God's country.
It's good stuff out there. It's definitely a minor role, but like what you want to do in a band is a lot like what you want to do on a football team, a basketball team, a baseball team. I would just really strive to be the star in my role. Like I want to be not necessarily, I don't even have to be the best at what I do.
Okay.
I just want to be the best I can at what I've been given.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You see how I once again even further manage the expectations in that regard. I want to be the star in my role. Whatever is asked of me, I want to be really good at that, plus a little more. So I think it's something small. The obvious answer is like the cowbell and you rock it out and you do that whole thing. Because it would be fun. I've always wanted to learn how to play the harmonica, but I don't know if Kiss has many harmonica songs.
I think they would adapt a few. Like, hey, we've got a harmonica guy.
And if you could, I would like a solo because I think that would really bring the house down in Cozad.
Well, yeah, you're the Nebraska kid done right. You would need to be focused on at some point
when you're
in the
doing
show.
your encore at the end and you're introducing all your bandmates and everybody's like, hell yeah. And on the harmonica, you wouldn't believe this. He's from Nebraska. And it's me. Yep. It's me. I do a little solo rendition, just a little riff of whatever I need to do. And we go back into the chorus, whatever it might be. So that's my vision for it anyway. At the same time, I don't think I would be a great fit for Kiss.
And why is that?
Well, I think that's pretty easy. I just don't. I don't look like I could be in Kiss. Do I look like I could be in Kiss?
Yeah, I don't think you have that look.
Okay. That's good. So you'd have to do something with it. I guess it can't be just a guy. If you're in Kiss, it can't be just a guy playing the harmonica. You have to do something with your face or some sort of a mask.
Yeah.
Maybe I put on the bear hat like Willie Gay did in the parade.
Now, Dave asked a great question here. You would have to wear face paint. Wouldn't the face paint get all over the harmonica?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
You'd have to spring for like the good makeup that doesn't. rub off.
Which I would assume that they have.
I would think so. I mean,
they have access to that type
they're
of stuff.
getting sweaty at each show every night. I mean, can't have that running around looking like Sting at the end of a 7-minute match.
Yeah. That's where I would go. Josh,
I would do like a triangle or a washboard. I think those would both be fun instruments to play. Yeah. And I think I would do like one black patch over my eye, and then the rest of the face just white.
Eye patch guy.
Not an eye patch, but
that's
like
what it sounded like.
A circle of black over my eye.
Oh,
that would be my Kiss makeup.
I think you should wear an eye patch. You could be the guy in the band with an eye patch.
Sure. I mean, I'm just playing the triangle and the washboard. It's not like I need to be able to see.
Yeah, be the eye patch guy. Say that.
Okay. I'll be an eye patch guy.
Cool.
Kip emails in.
Hi, Kip.
Do either of you have a favorite GIF? Connor, I know you pronounce it GIF, but I go with GIF. Mine is the one with 50 Cent driving away from a stoplight in a car, and then randomly Sir Patrick Stewart is in the back seat. Not sure why.
Yeah, that one's good. I'll say we overuse a lot of them. You won't see me GIFing much.
That is true.
You will not see me GIFing much.
I have seen this about you.
I'm more of a fan of the still picture or the video. You know, the GIF is the in-between. But my favorite GIF is obvious. It's Walter White in the car. The car speeds away, and it says, "Oh God," and that's a sure sign of summer because that means the Royals are blowing a game in the back end of it with their bullpen that they've tried to piece together with minor league pitchers over the last 5 years. So yeah, that's the one.
I have two favorite GIFs. One is selfishly me about to vomit in the 16-20 the zone studio trash can.
Classic.
We made another new one of me this week that I got to find the right use for it, but
yeah, we're GIFing now at 1620 the zone on Twitter.
I could imagine it being thrown into the rotation. And I like the one where James Harden is asked a question and he just
what if I recreated that one right now?
I would use that.
Okay.
I just something about it. Every time I see it, I like that's a funny face.
What if I did just something like this? I'm still plugged in. And nobody listening on the radio knows what I'm doing right now.
I don't know who makes our GIFs, but
well, maybe they'll see that and they'll make a GIF out of it.
I have a hunch it's you now.
It's definitely not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was happening during our show yesterday.
Oh,
I guess that it would be our new boss.
Feels like that would be the other culprit, more or less. Dave tweets into the show.
Dave,
today is Valentine's Day. Since love gets its own holiday, what other emotions should have their own day?
Sadness.
Oh, you want like a World Sadness Day?
Yeah, we all just get a day to.
I mean,
I don't know. We kind of have that a lot, I suppose.
There's a few of those on the calendar.
We are encouraged to feel our feelings a lot.
Yeah.
Guilt. World Guilt Day. Could be fun. I don't know. You just feel guilty all day.
Sean, I can't ask this question on the radio, but I want to. I'll just forward that to Connor.
Is it an email?
It is.
Okay. I haven't seen it.
Even if it's an email, it's a tweet.
What are some other emotions?
I'm a little. I would want to see what like World Anger Day would look like, but it feels dangerous.
Good tweet good email by Sean. I just got that. You could ask it in a different way, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sadness, fear. Day of fear.
Okay, Day of Fear. That sounds terrifying.
Day of confusion.
Land of Confusion.
Happy Confusion Day. Day of boredom.
Oh. Day of boredom.
Everybody's just bored all day. Day of shame. That's it. That's the winner.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yep.
Everybody gets shamed for the various things they do that are dumb. That's the winner.
Yep.
Shame day.
You get to call people out.
We could pick some saint who's been around name it after that person. But really what we're celebrating is the emotion of shame.
That's a good call. I like that.
That's what I
call.
want.
Mhm.
That's what I want. I got a couple texts if you want to do those.
I got one more tweet from Mustache Adam, then we can rattle off the texts.
All right.
Not a question, but I think today being a day of love, we need an apology from producer Josh on this Travis and Taylor love story.
Interesting.
I will not apologize because off season's about to hit and she's about to learn some things about her man when he's got some downtime, so to speak.
So I have thought about this, Josh. She is about to be dating him for the first time while he's not in the middle of a season. You make a good point. It does change a little bit in the off season. I don't know what Taylor's got coming up. Is she still doing the world tour over the summer?
She's got the big tour going on.
So right now. I'm a little curious in how that's going to go, but I'm sure they'll stick. I'm sure they'll stick together.
Australia this weekend, Sydney the following weekend.
Still Australia.
Yeah. Singapore after that.
Not Australia.
Paris.
Not Australia.
That's not in May though. So late March and all of April, they can be together.
That's a long time to just be hanging out with Travis Kelce.
It is.
Okay. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. That's for sure.
Well, Paramore is the opener in Paris. Who wants to go to Paris?
Dude, that sounds...
That's a good show.
That's a banger of a show. It works for me. All right, here we go from Jesse.
Hi, Jesse.
Sweetbag, I have 2 boys, no girls. My wife makes my boys say, excuse me, when they fart. I'm used to it with sneezing and burping, but is it necessary when farting? I would think it's it's more necessary.
Yeah. Why would you not?
I think the usual parental advice to teach the young boys is just don't fart in public.
Yeah.
It's very rare. It's uncontrollable, right? So just don't, and then you won't have to apologize for it, which is great. I'm not telling you how to parent.
My 4-year-old yesterday told me as we were going down for bedtime, he said, Daddy, I tooted real loud in class.
Oh, no.
And I said,
What'd
Did
you
you
do?
say excuse me? And he goes, oh, yeah, of course. Like, okay. And then I followed it up with a, hey, let's try and not do that from here on out.
Just don't try not to. That's all. That's good. Good job, Josh. Good parenting. John texts in.
Hi, John.
Tweet back question. Why is there no video of Josh and what he was drinking from the last 2 Reaver National Championships?
I came on the radio the next day and admitted that I had been cradling a bottle of champagne all night. This last year, there was not champagne available at the hotel when we got back. I don't know why. I'm assuming Reese dropped the ball on that one. Reese is the guy who gets stuff on the team. He's also one of the assistant coaches, but we call him the guy who messes up all the time.
We always got to have the guy who gets stuff.
It was just a lot of random beers, loose beers around the hotel lobby.
So it wasn't video worthy?
No,
Okay.
no, not really.
I
don't know if everybody would want to see the coaches and fans getting after it.
Some more texters have ideas on emotions that we could feel for a day.
Great.
This one's from the 402. Horny.
I mean, that's today, isn't it?
Love. I guess, they could be combined into one.
I mean, we dubbed today Ass Wednesday.
Dan says World Sadness Day was Monday after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl again. Aaron has a tweet back question.
Hi, Aaron.
In honor of the Waste Management Open and the Saturday bleep storm, I was there Sunday. It was cool and mostly chill. If you were forced to become a meme, what sporting event would you want to become a part of internet history because of something you did in some fashion that makes you internet famous? What?
Can I have an example?
You want me to give you one, or you want Aaron to give you one?
I'd like Aaron to give me one, but what's your answer?
I'm thinking I want the world to know, what Rob tweeted out yesterday is perfect for me.
Okay.
I want the world to know that I could do things, right? So if it just so happens that the GIF camera's on while I win the half-court shot contest and I bang it home, and that's the GIF of me, and I run around and I celebrate and I take my shirt off.
Like
That's pretty good.
like the Miller North alum who hit the half-court shot at Kansas this weekend.
That
right?
could be jiffable.
Yeah.
It could be jiffable.
See, I was thinking
It would not be me like rolling around in the bunker on 16.
No. I was thinking it would be funny if I was a fan man who landed in the ropes at that boxing match that one time.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think of other fan like classic moments that we've had. That one guy or that one lady who tied herself to the basket because of Glenn Taylor and the chickens.
Classic.
Yep, that was good. The punts guys.
Mm-hmm,
the punts guys are right up there.
That's a good place to live right there.
I would absolutely love to be one of the punts guys.
Not to bounce around all over the place, but the third Monday in January is typically referred to as Blue Monday, as it is the saddest day of the year for people in our hemisphere, where it's gray and cold and the holidays are over.
Well, good thing it was like 60 degrees that day.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We might have still been in the cold snap at that point. We were close, I guess.
I Googled World Sadness Day, and that's what came up.
Aaron follows up. He says, Connor has the idea. I told my wife on Sunday, my goal is to not become a meme today, AKA I'm drunk and I don't want to fall down a wet hill.
Uh-huh.
That is absolutely the right way to approach it.
Good on you for having it in the back of your head. Like,
and Aaron, now you know, like, you got to watch yourself. The cameras are out, especially at the Waste Management Open. It became a bit during that thing over the weekend to document how much of a bleep show it was. And so I saw a constant stream of pictures of people falling in mud, trudging their way up hills, trying to get to places, beer lines, like mass humanities of people. But like the common theme was everybody had mud all over their bodies. You don't want to be one of those people in those pictures.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. I'd like to, I would want it to be a good thing, but if I, for some reason, went viral because of like a call of a sporting event where I made a mistake, like the guy saying designated Hitler. I don't.
You want to be Tom Brenneman?
I don't think that'd be no. I don't think the designated Hitler thing would be the worst thing in the world.
No.
Or the guy who had the hockey puck shot at him and he goes, ah, 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 ah! That's kind of funny.
Designated Hitler, the rest of your career is entirely dependent on how you play it afterwards.
Yeah, you got to have a good toot about it.
Yep.
I went back. I have a couple. I don't even know if I should say this. I have a couple of my college BTN Plus broadcasts on my computer that I was just scrolling through the other night.
Oh, we love BTN Plus.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't say anything that stupid, but I just sounded so stupid. Like I sounded so bad and so young.
Like your cadence is off. You don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not anything I want out there.
I think El Scorcho has the right idea.
Okay.
He would like to be the guy on Monday Night Football who jumped out of the stands and caught the field goal.
That's pretty good. That's a really good one, actually. Yeah, half court shot, long putt. The putt for Porsche guy.
Yeah. Every time I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna go in. It's
gonna
go in.
How about the guy
we made it.
Who shot like a half court shot at an NBA game, and there was a young woman who was interviewing him beforehand. Hey, how do you think you're gonna do? And he was like, I don't. He said something that could be called in this day and age Riz. He said, I don't know, but I want your number, or whatever it was, whatever his line was. And then he went off, canned the shot, and he just looked like the coolest guy in the world. He just looked like the coolest guy in the world. Chris writes in.
Hi, Chris.
I would want to be the guy that had his baby in his arm, a beer in the other hand.
That's a good one.
Almost Matrix-like fashion. Lets go of the baby, catches the home run ball, and then catches the baby in midair. That guy is my hero. Guy who catches the baseball in the beer cup and then chugs the beer. That's special stuff.
Yeah.
That's really special stuff. Would you want to be the kid who did all of the sexually suggestive faces at the camera at the College World Series a couple of years ago?
There was a time where I thought like, oh my gosh, that's peak. And then my wife sent me a video of our son at a local establishment eating some ice cream, and he did the eyebrows thing, where you just bat him up and down, looking suggestively at the ice cream cone.
I don't want this.
He's like, no, he wanted it. He was like, yeah, this is gonna be
No,
good.
you didn't want it.
Oh yeah, I didn't want that. I'm like, no, son.
How about the kid who got trucked by Durango at the College World Series a couple years ago?
Definitely not.
That one lives forever.
It does. And I'm sure that that guy's friends remind him of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to say. I took part one time. I was selected to do the Dizzy Bat race at Rosenblatt one time.
Okay.
I'm glad that there's probably no video of that out anywhere.
Presidency.
Happy about that. I'm not sure. I couldn't give you a date or a year, mostly because I don't want to. So, yeah, I don't think that video exists anywhere. I don't think I made too big of a fool of myself, but I get dizzy really easy, Josh.
Oh, really?
The guy being Aaron has another one. The guy being ran down and face planting at the Brewers game pre-celebration, and the human speed dude flying by the freeze. Yeah, I would not want to get beat by the freeze. I would never race the freeze. I would get smoked by the freeze.
I refuse to race.
I would not. I will not race the freeze. If they chose me for the freeze contest, I don't want to do it.
Because you'd lose?
Because I would try so hard. And I would be out of gas. And yes, of course I would lose. He would let me get to the 408 sign in center field, and he would run twice the amount of distance in half the amount of time. And yeah, he would beat me by, several furlongs, and I would be sad afterwards and out of breath.
So hard.
Probably need medical attention. That's that. I would try too hard. All right. That's a good question, though. I like that one from Aaron. All right, we'll come back and talk to Robin Washut. Thanks for participating, by the way, in the tweet bag.
Good bag, y'all.
Good bag. Josh will slide in the DMs or whatever we need to do coming up here in after the show. Robin Washut's next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
Start your engines.
Joe's Indoor Karting in Council Bluffs is off the charts crazy. Joe's Karting is fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing action at over 40 miles per hour. The only speed restriction on these karts is how good you are. Joe's Karting is located just a couple of blocks north of Bass Pro Shop and directly east of AMC Theater in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Go watch a movie. Come race at Joe's. Planning a bachelor party, graduation party, or just a night out with friends. Go to Joe's. Remember, Joe's Karting is your place to race.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Velocity Clinical Research in Omaha frequently conducts clinical trials for a broad range of investigational treatments. Typical studies involve medications for high cholesterol, diabetes, infectious diseases, and others. They also perform vaccine studies for people of all ages, conducting innovative research that has a positive impact on lives. Click for current trials at velocityclinicaltrials.com. More trials are launching in March. Compensation for study-related time and travel. Find out more at velocityclinicaltrials.com.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
Asante came to TurboTax after graduating from culinary school and landing a job in the hottest kitchen in town.
My hands are full all day, every day. I love it.
Asante, as your TurboTax expert, I'll make your moves count, guaranteeing 100% accurate filing and your maximum refund. Sound good?
Yes, expert.
Switch to Intuit TurboTax and make your moves count. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
The biggest basketball coaching convention of
work on your stroke. Are you looking?
What?
You don't remember? Yeah, I'm talking.
What is going on? Robin, are you okay?
Robin Washut.
Are your kids near you, or what just happened?
Husker Online.
I took a lot of preparation to make this thing a flawless interview, and clearly I still can't avoid it.
Robin Washut, Husker Online.
Maybe it was aliens. Maybe it was a phenomenon that we can't explain.
The Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. On 3 joins us on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Robin, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. So I heard you started the whole booing me on Sunday. So
I was sitting up in the 300 level. I'm pretty sure you heard me.
I didn't. I'll tell you what happened. So here's what Robin is talking about, and I got a whole bunch of tweets, and people were mad at me. I was the first person that people were mad at the game on Sunday, and then everybody else got mad at everything else as the game went on.
You really set the tone for an angry day.
I did, which I'm fine with. I like a little vitriol every now and then. But we had our Dash for Cash, where the contestant is blindfolded and they have to, be told only by the crowd where to go and find the $100 bill or the envelope that has been placed on the floor. And we had a person who was not doing so hot, and then at the very end made a nice little run, but went right over the top and basically finished on all fours over the top of the envelope. And I'll tell you what happened in my ears, Robin. It was left up to me. If I would have said, "Hey, that guy won because he was so close," then he would have gotten $200. But I decided ultimately that I'm a man of principle, and it was not a principle that I wanted to set that day. I said, "No, thank you. Please leave. Get off my court."
Well, there's precedent because my guy D. Wayne was in a very similar situation during one of the men's games, and the crowd was, trying to convince him to give him to him. And being the man of the people that he is, he rewarded the contestant with the prize. Unlike you, who
I'm not influenced by outside factors, Robin. I have the focus of that it requires for this job to make the tough decisions.
Yeah, you had the thumb teetering on the side, and eventually you just gave him the thumbs down, the gladiator style.
Exactly. Chuck Norris, dodgeball, except for the opposite. Thumbs down. Thank you, Chuck Norris. Bleep you, Chuck Norris. That was me. So yeah, we really got it started with a little hate right out of the gate. Which
Right.
was
You provided the energy, the hornet's nest atmosphere that we needed.
Exactly. Okay, so let's go back to the night before. So what was the biggest lead that Nebraska had over Michigan? It was 45 to 13 or 45 to 15?
43-13.
43-13. What an enjoyable 15 minutes of basketball that Nebraska displayed until they basically put on, set the cruise control at 55 and then rode out the next 25 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to watch a better 15 minutes of basketball, and that's as good of a 15 minutes as I've seen Nebraska basketball play maybe ever.
Probably.
And that's not hyperbole there. I mean, they couldn't miss. The offense was executing at such an elite level, not only just the shot making, but the ball movement. I mean, everything was, passing up good shots for great shots, all the things that you want to see from a team on offense Nebraska was doing to an extremely high level. And then defensively, they're playing with, that edge and tenacity that has always made them so good at home this year, and really created the perfect storm. And Michigan's a team that, with the way that their season has gone, playing without Doug McDaniel, who's still serving that weird road game only suspension. If Nebraska was able to jump on them early, there was a real good chance Michigan was just going to kind of shut it down. Well, that's exactly what happened. But Nebraska did it to the extent that that game was over before the under 4 timeout in the first half.
Obviously it started on the first play of Nebraska's first bucket of the game with Josiah Alec, kind of taking it by himself and dunking on the guy and, not getting called for a foul, hitting the floor. Josiah Alec is, I've sort of been wondering with this team, like who's the kind of catalyst who really needs to be going in order for Nebraska to have success. But and the answer is really everybody, but like Josiah Alec bringing his energy and what he brings to the table really seems to spark this team when it's going well. And you juxtapose that with what he brought to the table against Northwestern and their loss before that, which was, nothing. He didn't have any rebounds. And he was a monster on the boards in the first 20 minutes of that game against Michigan. Like, I think he's kind of low key a pretty important catalyst for what their sort of energy level is on whatever given night.
Well, he's such an important leader on the team, and his voice is as strong as anybody's in that locker room. And then when you pair that with, backing it up with his actions on the court and that type of production, that's a pretty good motivator. Like you said, it's one thing to, be a rah-rah guy and, try to pump people up in timeouts and huddles. But when you're out there, making those types of plays, that's the true tone setter right there. And so that's, he's one of the more important guys on this team just because of the leadership component and the fact that, he can do things, especially with his rebounding, that can really separate Nebraska's chances for success. You look at their biggest weak points, one of them is rebounding. And when he's rebounding at that level and bringing that kind of effort in the paint and, scoring that efficiently and defending the way that he did, that makes Nebraska such a better team on both ends of the floor. So, he set the tone right out of the gate. That opening possession, like I said, 2 offensive rebounds and a huge dunk right away coming off of that goose egg performance at Northwestern was a really big deal and really kind of got Nebraska shot out like a cannon with the way that he brought it from the opening tip.
Been a little bit more consistent lately in terms of the energy, I guess, sans the first half at Northwestern. But other than that, over the last 4, basically, it's been pretty good. You've come to maybe trust a little bit more. What is your trust level that Nebraska is able to, especially down the stretch here in the final 6 of the regular season, put together consistent effort, right? Consistent effort and energy. Whatever the numbers end up being, that's one thing. But I really think it starts there, and especially on the defensive and rebounding sides of things. Like, where's your trust level at with them right now?
Yeah, they still got to prove it, but
it's getting better, right?
Yeah, kind of. Like their last 2 games have been polar opposites. So
yeah.
I don't know where that lies with consistency, but I think that what's going to help here is that the schedule finally kind of eases up a little bit, and it starts this week. This is their first off week since the winter break, and so they've been just basically going, every 2 or 3 days playing a game, and you saw it in that Northwestern game. They looked like a team that was running on empty. They were just completely gassed. Even before that game even hardly got going, you could just see it. They looked tired. They looked like a team that was just completely out of juice. And so having some time to just regroup is going to be critical. And when you talk about going on the road and playing with the necessary effort in those settings, when you don't have that crowd motivating you, I think that's a big deal. When you have fresh legs, when you're able to actually prepare and scout your opponent rather than doing, an off day, watching film, one practice, and then you're traveling. I think this is going to help Nebraska in a lot of ways to try to have more of that consistency when they do leave Pinnacle Bank Arena. Because I think just being able to have the right physical and mental preparation is something they just haven't had the luxury of. Whereas other teams in the Big Ten have already had one or even both of their allotted off weeks. So we'll see if they're able to capitalize on that. But I think that's certainly going to help when it comes to being able to translate all of that necessary effort from one game to the next.
3 remaining road games in the regular season: Indiana, Ohio State, and Michigan. One, we already know there's going to be an interim coach, and the other 2 are on the extreme hot seat. Like I could see that going a variety of different ways, but I guess rarely you see in a season that is lost for both Michigan and Indiana, and now Ohio State with their coach being fired today and Chris Holtmann. Like rarely you see those teams at the end of the year really push for that extra last bit of juice. How might that work out for Nebraska, needing to probably steal one on the road in their final 3 opportunities?
Certainly helps. And the fact that they've already beaten all 3 of those teams this season. So, 1, you've shown that you're good enough to beat them. 2, they're all going through their own sets of issues. And 3, for the most part, certainly Michigan, and we'll see kind of what happens over the next couple of weeks. But, there's a chance that there's not going to be a whole lot left for at least 2 of those teams to really be playing for at this point. So, from a motivation factor, Nebraska should have a significant edge as well. So, there's plenty of opportunity still for Nebraska to get that elusive road win, and possibly even 2, maybe even 3. Just consider, I think all 3 of those games are winnable. And Nebraska's shown that, like, the road stigma, I get it is what it is, but like, it's not like they go on the road and just get blown out all the time. They've certainly had those dud performances, but they should have beaten Illinois, should have beat Rutgers. They were dominating Minnesota for 20 minutes and probably should have won that game. So, like, they're clearly good enough to win these types of games, especially, going back to the consistency thing. If they can find a way to play with the necessary effort and attention to detail, there's not a team left on their schedule that they can't beat. And that includes those 3 road games.
What's the magic number in the last 6? Is it 4 or is it more?
Well, certainly you have to win out at home. So, that right there. And then you got to get, I think, at least 1.
Okay.
At least 1.
And that gets you to
2.
4, and that's 21 in the regular season.
Yeah. So I think 21, you're in a good spot. 22, I think you're in. Like, I think that's it. Because that means that you've won, you don't have a bad loss, and you've won multiple road games. So I like that.
And you'd be 12-8 in the league at that point too.
Yeah, then you're going to Minneapolis playing for seeding, not trying to get off the bubble. So that's kind of how I see it. You never know what the committee is actually thinking. There's been some pretty wild cases where resumes seem to be more than good enough that don't get in, and vice versa. But I think that with the momentum Nebraska has on its side, if they're able to just eliminate the one hole in their resume, which is the conference road wins, and then maintain one of the best parts of their resume, which is no bad losses, that's going to put them in a really good spot. So I'd say 4 minimum, 5 you're in.
Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. Robin, thanks as always. We'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Do it.
Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. Check out the basketball coverage there. Not much to do this week outside of name old Nebraska ball players.
Always a fun day at the office.
Nebraska coming off a 20-point home win against Michigan. They will welcome in Penn State on Saturday. Take care of business there. You're one step closer. And then you get the opportunity to, put the nail in the coffin of Mike Woodson or Juwan Howard potentially on the road, even though they're, Michigan's AD said this morning that he hasn't even considered really making a move yet, interestingly enough. Not only Ohio State has considered it, they have done it already. No advantage to firing a coach, by the way, with 3 weeks left in the season.
Seems
none at all.
Completely
just
pointless.
Let it burn.
Yeah.
Let it happen. And you're not going to, like, the coaching carousel in college basketball doesn't happen until the Final Four anyway, because that's when the coaching convention is and that's when people talk. So, like, no need.
And then I saw a tweet.
But good job, Ohio
State. That was Ohio State players can now enter the transfer portal. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Who would jump in the portal with 3 weeks left in the season?
Definitely not college athletes. That's for sure. That would never happen. That has the potential to be kind of fun there. All right, we'll come back. We'll go into Creighton a little bit from last night because this is the first chance we've had to really talk about anything. And then we'll be joined by Kyle Perry of Nebraska baseball at the top of the hour. Lots to come still on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter @Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys? Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
The suspicious activity also included the Better Showing Sportsbook staff messages from Bohannon and explaining that the messages were Bohannon informing Better that Bama was scratching its starting pitcher before the game before Bohannon alerted LSU. So the guys, look, I have messages from the coach.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mid to upper 50s for a high temperature this evening. More clouds working in along with a southeast breeze. By the evening time frame, you're talking about a small chance of a shower. Tomorrow morning, a starting temperature near 30 degrees and eventually warming up to about 41 degrees with a colder northwest breeze. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery. KETV News Watch 7.
More with Connor and Josh after this.
We're going to have an extensive professional relationship, my man.
On 1620 The Zone.
Email us on the Equitable inbox with whatever is on your mind. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can hit me up, agree, disagree, tell me your thoughts on life at Hanley@1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Asante came to TurboTax after graduating from culinary school and landing a job in the hottest kitchen in town.
My hands are full all day, every day. I love it.
Asante, as your TurboTax expert, I'll make your moves count, guaranteeing 100% accurate filing and your maximum refund. Sound good?
Yes, expert.
Switch to Intuit TurboTax and make your moves count. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Kansas City became just the 9th back-to-back Super Bowl champion in NFL history. But will they have 5-time Pro Bowl defensive lineman Chris Jones on board as they go for an unprecedented 3 straight Lombardi trophies? Head coach Andy Reid met the media Tuesday and said he and general manager Brett Beach are open to continuing the partnership. 49ers defensive tackle Eric Armstead said he tore the meniscus in his right knee in the Week 13 win at the Eagles. He played through it in the postseason, but will need surgery on it in the coming days. His hope is to be back ready around training camp. 123.4 million average viewers across all platforms watched as the Chiefs beat the 49ers in Super Bowl 58 Sunday night. The audience bested last year's mark of 115.1 million. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online.
Yeah!
Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Omaha native Frankie Fiddler is top 20 in the NCAA Division I scoring and leading the Omaha Maverick men's basketball team in a run for the conference title. The Maverick men are at home against South Dakota on Thursday and South Dakota State on Saturday. And Maverick hockey only has 4 regular season home games left on February 23rd and 24th when they take on Colorado College in a top 20 matchup. Let's pack the Baxter. Get your tickets now. Call the box office at 402-554-MAVS or omavs.com/tigs.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
Creighton beat Georgetown last night, 94-72.
They sure did, Connor.
The Jays shot 59% from the field, 47% from three, 17 made three-pointers last night. Trey Alexander made 6 of them, 6 at 8. Good to see him get going last night.
I think he started 6 of 6, right?
I believe that is correct. He was definitely, yes, I think that is right.
I was dialed in, Connor.
Baylor, I noticed that. Baylor Shireman recorded the school's first points, rebounds, assists triple-double, the second triple-double in school history, following Benoit Benjamin's points, rebounds, blocks, triple-double in 1985.
There was a stretch of the broadcast last night.
Talking about Benoit Benjamin?
Nick Baugh and Kevin Kugler were just like, everything ended up organically coming back to Benoit Benjamin, and Kevin just goes, I guess this is Benoit Benjamin hour here.
So, Mac was asked about Benoit Benjamin after the game.
Sure.
And Eric Olson was like, hey, you played against Benoit Benjamin, right? And Mac was like, no. If it would have been a horrible mismatch. No, thank you. No, I'm not. No.
I don't want any of that.
But congrats to Baylor. He did a really great job last night. 15, 11, and 11 for him. And people keep trying to dunk on Ryan Kalkbrenner for some reason. It's very confusing to me, Josh.
But is he any good?
You
Connor?
should have watched the tape on the Xavier game with Desmond Claude, who, I mean, he got up there, right? Yeah. He that was the best look you're gonna get on dunking on Ryan Kalkbrenner. And he still met him in the air. The picture is unbelievable of how high both those guys got up. And people, Georgetown guys trying to do it. It's very odd to me. Just stop trying. It's okay. You don't have to do this. Nobody's making you do this. He's going to probably block you, or he's going to affect the shot in a different way. You're going to look really bad. And Mac, after the game, it sort of got a little bit retrospective last night, looking at, because this was Creighton's last sort of take a deep breath moment before. Every game is hard now. Every single game is hard. 6 remaining regular season games, Big East tournament, NCAA tournament, they're all hard. So whether it's 10 more games for Creighton or more or less, they're all going to be very difficult for them. So last night you sort of got the chance to, pat yourself on the back a little bit. Here's Mac after the game talking about a lot of people calling for people appreciating people last night. Mac on the big 3 of Kalkbrenner, Trey, and Baylor Shireman.
I hope our fans really appreciate and enjoy
it's doing that thing again.
The remainder of their careers. And, Baylor's obviously done, and we're not sure what Trey and Kalk are going to do. We'll wish them the best, whatever they do. But take a step back and enjoy what you're seeing because it's really rare in this day and age to have three guys that are so selfless in the society that we live in now and that really, really, truly put the team first. And you just, we're not going to realize what Ryan Kalkbrenner does until he's not back there anymore. We built this defense that's been, essentially a top 30 defense for the last 3 years around his skill set. But building it around him and then having him do it is two very different things. His job's very difficult what he has to do back there. And the way he does it without fouling and understanding when to jump, when to stay on the floor, it's pretty incredible. And the rim challenge at the end of the Xavier game against them was one of the best I've ever seen at the college level. He met a great player at the rim and won that battle at a critical juncture of that game.
That's Greg McDermott last night. So what? People didn't hear that, Josh?
I think everyone but me heard it.
Everyone but you?
Yeah.
Well, that seems like a weird person to not hear it.
My thoughts exactly, Connor.
Okay. But it's good stuff from Mac there, and I mean, they really are. And he sort of started to point us down that direction, like, hey, it's these guys stuck around. They came back because they wanted to get better, and they're all really selfless. They, and Baylor doesn't get the triple double without that. And I think Mac's given them a lot of leeway to say, hey, look, this is your guys', and we go as far as you go. And Stephen Ashworth has entered into that conversation as well. And Mason Miller has been really good over the last couple games as well. Jason Green got good minutes last night. Kalkbrenner only played 32, which is like several below his average, which is great. Frederick King got back out there. And the Jason Green thing, by the way, could become a thing. So Jason Green has some glue guy potential.
We love a glue guy.
Yeah, it's a little late, right? But he's got that defensive hard-headedness and rebounding ability, and he kind of just does dirty work a little bit, doesn't show itself on the scoreboard a whole bunch, even though he scored on some pretty key possessions this year, over the last two especially. So Jason Green has some strong glue guy vibes to me right now, which is a very good thing to see. So it's coming together for Creighton. Obviously, that'll be the easiest game they play for the rest of the year, unless they for some reason run into DePaul in the Big East tournament, which I don't anticipate, or unless they end up like as a 1 seed or something like that. But that's also not happening. So speaking of people,
what a run that would be for them to turn into a 1 seed.
Not going to happen
because everyone around them lost.
Speaking of people appreciating people, here is Ed Cooley. After he finished up his press conference, he was very, very supportive of what Creighton did. That's a great team. They got a bunch of great players. And one more thing before I go, I'd like to say this. Here is Ed Cooley last night. I can't do this. Every single year we do this. Why do we do this every year? Because you know what this does, Josh? It just gasses up the bus. It just gasses up the bus for everybody to start talking about the rumors and who wants what and who wants to go where. I'm going to choose to ignore Ed Cooley. Ed Cooley, I don't want to hear it from you anymore. I appreciate Greg McDermott. I am Greg McDermott appreciator, and I think most do.
Are you saying right here, right now, that you, Connor Happer, are going to disrespect Ed Cooley?
No, I'm just ignoring him.
Okay.
I feel indifferent toward him now. Everybody caught that last night, and they're like, why'd he say that? What's going on?
Just a little.
You're like, why'd he say that?
Why would he do that, Connor? Just a little jab. Better appreciate Greg. Hope y'all appreciate him.
And I'm like, and if you're not, if you don't have your ear to the ground in the college basketball, world, you're probably like, I do appreciate him. Thank you, Ed. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate him quite a bit. But then you know that Ed Cooley and Greg McDermott are very good friends, and they talk often, and they support each other. So you could get really wacko with sideways with that stuff, which I'm not doing. Nope. Not right now.
Not now, not ever.
Not gassing up that bus yet. Come back, Kyle Perry, Nebraska baseball, will join us on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Put your coffee department in good hands with Host Coffee Service, providing direct delivery and loaned coffee equipment with service programs. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Whoa, Sandra. So, in less than a week, you'll have
my forklift operator certificate.
And Joseph, you're quick to
respond? Yeah, with my degree in paramedicine, I'll be a
first responder? Cool. Bella, where are you off to?
Just knocking out my gen eds before
transferring to the university? Smart way to save, Bella. Get up to speed with your me time. On campus, online, on your schedule. Get started at mccneb.edu/me. Classes start March 7th.
This is me at MCC.
Make the right call. John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the rooferys.
When it's time to replace or repair storm damage, make the right call. John Higgins Weather Guard, the local, trusted, and proven choice. No one has installed more Da Vinci roofs, and there's a reason why John Higgins Weather Guard is the nation's leader. Community member, community supporter. Make the right call.
John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the rooferys. Make the right call.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
Omaha fans, are you ready to score tickets to your favorite events hassle-free? Yes. Shop local Tickets for Less, located right here in Omaha, 145th and West Center Road. No hidden fees, just transparent pricing. And when you use the promo code THEZONE at checkout, you'll save big at ticketsforless.com. Whether it's sports, concerts, or something else, Tickets for Less has you covered. If you have a question, call today, 402-398-1999. You'll never find better customer service because every seat holds a story. Find yours and use the promo code THEZONE at checkout at ticketsforless.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
If you're having problems in the bedroom, talking about it is the last thing you want to do. Same goes for hair loss, anxiety, or even depression. That's where HIMS comes in. Through HIMS, you don't have to talk about it. You can do something about it. Just go to hims.com/start, where you can find a variety of potential solutions for the problems men face every day and save up to 95% on generic alternatives. The entire process is 100% online, making it incredibly simple, straightforward, and above all, private. If prescribed, treatments made using clinically proven ingredients are shipped directly to your door in low-key packaging. So if you're experiencing ED, hair loss, anxiety, or problems with your general health, you don't have to go to the doctor or the pharmacy or spend all day talking about it. Just go to hims.com/start and do something about it. Get started today at hims.com/start. That's HIMS.com/START.
Looking for a sweet treat that will transport you back into time? Look no further than Ted and Wally's. With 2 convenient locations in Benson and the Old Market, it's the perfect place to satisfy your cravings. Whether you're downtown or in Benson, make sure to stop in. And if you're catching a basketball game, why not indulge in a delicious dessert afterwards? With over 3,000 flavors to choose from, there's something for everyone. Don't forget to check out our social media for daily flavors. Ted and Wally's, serving up nostalgia at its finest for over 35 years. Visit tedandwallys.com for more information.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
Welcome back. We're the Connor Happer Show. You're at 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. We're taking a tour around local baseball today as we touch base with Nebraska. Kyle Perry, Nebraska baseball pitcher, joins us now on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. KP, good to talk to you again. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me. I'm doing wonderful. We're really excited to get going.
yeah, just enjoying this last go around with the boys.
Hey, how does it feel to be going into your 15th season of college baseball?
It's great, man. Gordon was a great teammate, when I was a freshman. Yeah. No, man. Everything. I mean, I'm really excited, dude. It's flown by. Seems like I was just getting ready for my first trip, spring of 2019, to go to Riverside, and here I am for my sixth go around. It's pretty surreal, honestly.
So I was thinking about some of the guys that were your teammates on like the 19 team that season. Like so Matt Waldron, for instance, was played that entire season and then got drafted and then built his way up through the minor leagues and then had to recreate himself entirely and become a knuckleballer and then make the major leagues. And all this time you were still at Nebraska.
Right. I mean, Matty was incredible. I mean, I've never seen anybody with so much feel, with a baseball in his hands. He could do whatever he wanted, put it wherever he wanted. It was really a treat to watch every Friday as a freshman. And now looking back at and seeing where he's at and looking back and seeing what he did here, I mean, it's really special. And I mean, him and Fisher, there was a couple of big leaguers on that team. And I mean, it's just so fun to watch those guys and get to learn from them and hopefully chip my way kind of the way they did.
So what do you like? What do you know now? How is your approach to baseball, life, whatever it might be, changed with all that you've been through from an injury perspective, from a baseball perspective, and what you've seen in Nebraska, obviously too? But like, how is your approach changed on all of that over your time in Lincoln?
I mean, it's I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, it's changed so much, and it's like you said, it's all about perspective. I mean, it's like, as a freshman, you really don't have that appreciation for what's going on around you. You're just, bright-eyed, bushy-tail, happy to be there, right? And I mean, it's now looking back, I get to, look at the teammates I had, look at what they did, from not just only on the field, but, as a leadership standpoint, who they were in the clubhouse and taking little bits of things that the leaders that I got to look up to did, and helping the young guys out, because like I said, knowing what it's like to be that young guy and now being a guy that's seen plenty of baseball here, it's just taken on a whole new role. And it felt like pretty much every year I've been here, I've been taking on multiple roles, new roles, and it's kept me on my toes, and it's made the time go by really quick. But I mean, it's really just been perspective change after perspective change, and I mean, I'm very grateful for that. Obviously, it hasn't been easy, but it's been neat, and getting to have an impact on many teammates through the years. It's been great,
including Alex Gordon. Really. I guess, yeah,
right, yeah.
But your willingness to accept all these different roles, and it's been a roller coaster at times. But like, I guess, where does that is that just straight up? I love baseball. I love Nebraska. Like you just have seemed really being willing and able to roll with the punches, whatever gets thrown your way.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It's been, I mean, it surely hasn't been easy. But I guess that's just kind of who I am, I guess. I mean, just resilient, really bullheaded. I don't want to, when I was hurt, obviously I knew I had to go get operated on, but it was like, there's no way I'm done, and so it was just kind of like, I don't know if ignorant would be the right word, but I mean, there's just been such an unfulfilling feeling that's just been, sitting in me all through college. And it's like, I just like want to keep tasting it and get more hardware out of this whole journey. And the experience is something you can't ever get back. And I know, there's probably kids my age that, that are, working 9 to 5 that are, like, dude, give up on it. It's time to hit the LinkedIn or whatever. And but I mean, I'm sure there's guys your age and guys, plenty of older guys that could look back and if they had a year left to go, that they would have taken in a heartbeat. So
keep playing.
And that's just one of those things where I had to think about like, is this really what I want to do? And I mean, I look back at like I said, the different roles I've brought on, and I mean, it's just kind of another thing in my resume, whether you like it or not, that that not many people get to do. And and it's not easy to take on those different roles for sure.
Is that ultimately what led you to come back this time around? Because each situation has been a little bit different with all the bumps in the road, but like for this one specifically, coming back for your 6th year, what was the thought process behind that?
I mean, the thought process was a lot, man. It was a lot of it was just a lot of, just thinking in circles pretty much. It was like, okay, do I want to transfer? No, I don't. And it's like I could have gone that route, but it's like I don't know what the coaches throughout the country would have said if they looked at my numbers and my track record with injuries and whatnot. Like, I mean, if I'm thinking about it, knowing me, I mean, I would have expected everyone in the country to be recruiting me, but it's like you look at it on paper and it's probably not the prettiest sight. So I figured, why move somewhere out of a place that I've already proven myself. I have so much skin in the game here, and I've put pretty much everything in my being, into this program the last 5 years, and so it made no sense to leave, and that was a big thing for me. But and obviously I wanted to find this, I wanted to leave this place better than I found it, and that's saying a lot. Like you said, you had the Matty Waldrons and Nate Fishers and those guys, and so much talent I've got to see come through here and play with. But it's just leaving this place, better than I found it, and that was really a big thing for me. And talking to Coach Childress over the summer, and really having some deep talks with him, and seeing where I wanted to go, and what I wanted out of this whole experience, and that was really the big thing for me.
How do you feel right now? I assume you're ready to go for this weekend.
Yeah, man, I'm really ready to go. Ready to take on whatever is thrown at us, and I mean, it's like I said, it's a little surreal. We're hopping right into it, and it's just like Christmas gets over with and the season's here, so it doesn't slow down one bit. But yeah, I'm geared up and ready to go. So
tell me a little bit about this team, and I guess we've had the coaches on from the other programs, but I wanted to talk to you specifically, mostly because I wanted to talk about your story, but also because we can ask you like coach questions as well. Yeah. Like, tell me a little bit about this group and what you've seen so far, and maybe what makes it a little bit different from the past one or two.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so much turnover on this roster. And it reminds me of the 2022 team that ended up not having a great season, and I unfortunately made it about 4 weeks into that one, and just with how much turnover there is. But the thing with this team is that there's not as much turnover, on the freshman side of things. We're not bringing in 15 freshmen or whatever it was, that year. Our coaches hammered the JUCO, the transfer portal, and getting guys that have experience, and that's really getting to show, and it's the iron sharpens iron, and there's been so many guys that from day one they knew that if they wanted playing time, they're going to have to scratch and claw for it, and and really get to compete against the other guys, and that's really brought us together as a team, and I'm excited to see how it shows up, once we get the season kicked off. But I mean, just getting to see the guys compete each day and really throw down with each other, it's brought us closer, and it's made the guys a lot better than they were when they first showed up, for sure.
Give me a couple guys down in the bullpen with you guys that you've like either taken under your wing or you've seen from early workouts here, and you've gotten to get outside a little bit, which is nice as well. That you're like, man, there might be something here. Who are some guys who would fall into that category?
I mean, man, we and like I said, we didn't bring nearly as many freshmen as we did a couple years back, yeah. But I mean, the freshmen we did bring in, man, they're electric arms, man. We got Tanner Horn, Tucker Timmerman. Those guys are they have electric stuff, and they're exciting to watch. Carson Yaza, he's like a 6'7" big guy out of Colorado. He's got electric stuff and electric frame. Ryan Harahill, Elkhorn North kid. He's fun to watch. He's very mature beyond his years. I mean, it's crazy seeing the guys that they bring in as freshmen. And I think about myself, probably rolled in here at 6 foot, 155, in prime basketball shape, more like cross country. But, but now I see, and I can't believe what they're feeding these kids. It's pretty ridiculous. But I mean, they're electric. And you got Casey Dice. He's the guy out of Pasco Hernandez Junior College in Florida, and he's my age with like 3 more years of eligibility. So, he might be dealing with some older guys here in the future. But I mean, he's a guy, low 3/4 slot guy, funky right arm, and he throws a 2-seamer with 26 inches of run. It's just stupid. So I mean, I'm excited to see what we throw out of the pen this year, and I think we should have a lot of depth, and obviously we're going to rely on our starters, whoever that may be on that given day, man. And I know nothing's really set in stone right now, which could be concerning, and I understand that, but I'm really confident in whoever we throw out right now, and I'm excited to see what our staff does.
What's the message from Coach Childress, and since he's come along, like what is the theme of the group and the thing that he's trying to get across every day? Like, what's the Rob Childress effect?
I mean, man, I can't even begin to tell you the impact he's had on just our entire program, man. He's this is his third year here, and I mean, you can tell he's special, and his resume speaks for itself, and he just has a terrific way of communicating with players and faculty. I mean, you name it, support staff, people. He's a pro's pro, and he uses that. But I mean, truly, that's who he is. But I mean, he really is buckled down with the staff on, limiting the free passes and the walks, the hit by pitch. It's okay to walk a couple guys, but you got to back it up with punchies, and some strikeouts to help yourself out and help the team. And I mean, it's keeping everything simple. He has the KISS, the KISS theory, the keep it simple, stupid theory that he's kind of pounded in, and that was his mantra at the very start. So I mean, it's really mastering vanilla, attack in the middle, trust your life, and throw strikes, trust your defense behind you. And I mean, that's as simple as you need it, really.
It really is.
And I mean, much easier said than done. Take it from me, but no, he's had a great impact on our staff.
Hey,
sure.
He's got an old school brain about it. I think you feel the same way. I often find myself like I get made fun of for being like, I'm 31, but I sometimes sound like I'm 58 or something like that.
Sure.
But like my thing is like it and like you said, it's harder than it looks, but we've somewhere along the line lost the art of like, hey, let's just throw strikes and we'll see what happens.
Right.
Like,
right.
I appreciate that. That's the message from Coach Childress.
No doubt. I mean, it's especially with nowadays, you're getting these analytics and all these random numbers and stuff I've never even heard about getting shoved down your throat. And don't get me wrong, man, it's fun to look at the iPad, during live outings and inter squads and looking at
pretty good spin rate
metrics. And
yeah.
Really, yeah. I mean, and there's horizontal run, vertical, run and drop and whatever the heck, sort of analytics that are on there. And I mean, it's really interesting and intriguing. It's really cool to look at. But I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it's filling up the zone, man, and trusting your defense, and that's the name of the game. And yeah, I mean, that's something that we really don't want to stray away from. And at times the game seems to be straying away at that, those little things that remain constant. But for sure, man, I mean, it's mastering vanilla, and that's what he said, at the very start, and that's what we're working towards each day.
Easier said than done too, because your guys have a challenge this weekend. You're going to play in a big league park, and there could be some emotions there as well. What's the excitement level for the weekend?
Sure. I mean, we played there in 2022, and I mean, gorgeous park, just unreal. I mean, it's really cool, and I'm glad we get a chance to practice there tomorrow evening, and the guys that haven't been there get to look around, soak it in a little bit, and get comfortable with it. But I mean, as a pitcher, a lot of things factor into how you're feeling, but depth perception is big, and they got their backstop's pretty close to home plate, and that's a advantage pitcher for sure there. So I think our guys will like to pitch there. It's a pretty neat park.
KP, thanks for doing this, man. Good luck this year. Have a safe trip down this weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Go Big Red.
Kyle Perry, Nebraska baseball, 15th year player. Played with Alex Gordon, Shane Comine. Joe Simakaitis was his shortstop. That
Just
whole
an
thing.
Amazing run.
KP's the best, man. That's a guy that loves Nebraska baseball.
You can
like
hear it
he
in his
loves
voice.
Nebraska baseball. And that's why I told him, I was like, hey, I wanted to have you on because your story is incredible, because he's had all these different surgeries and come back and then different roles. And he was supposed to be, you know, when he got here, he was like Friday night starter potential type of guy. And, you know, coming off and giving those innings of relief in Arkansas, or starting that game in Arkansas at the super regional or at the regional a couple of years ago. I mean, it's been a crazy career for him. And he could also kind of approach it from the coach standpoint too. So I was like, I'm going to ask him all the same questions I would to Will. Tell me about your team. He's got as good of a perspective on it as anybody else.
Oh yeah, he was rattling off those bullpen guys, and it sounded exactly like a coach would describe them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, good velocity, real Friday night potential.
But we also, and this comes from our multiple conversations together now over the years, we also see baseball the same way. I think we get like me and him. We're kind of like emotional about it, but it's simple. Nothing pisses me off more than a guy not throwing strikes. Throw the ball down. It's fine. He's supposed to hit it. You know, so
trust your defense to a certain extent.
I love that. And I love that Rob Childress, you know, is trying to drive that home as well. Got a tweet here from Jacob Padilla.
Hi, Jacob.
Of various podcasts and Heard at Sports.
And this show tomorrow.
My favorite part of the Kyle Perry interview was him calling Connor old.
That was delightful.
You know, guys back in your day, yeah.
Those old timers always come to the park and tell us about what it was like in their day.
But I feel comfortable in like ribbing him on that stuff because like he takes it in stride. He has a great sense of humor about it as well.
Very quickly, I have an update from Kansas City.
Oh, great. Who's drunk?
Isaiah Pacheco has a goat.
He brought a goat. A literal goat.
Yes.
That's cool. Did he name it Patrick?
I don't know anything about the goat.
Got to be a joke in there somewhere.
Sure. I would hope so. And Brittany Mahomes has found Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Found him?
Yes.
Like he was lost?
Apparently they are best friends.
Oh.
And she came running down the street and Clyde, and they gave each other a big hug. It looked a lot like
That's the best. Everybody loves everybody. I've never met you, but I love you. Let's hug.
It looked a lot like the video that gets shared on Facebook all the time of the little white boy running down the street and the little black boy running down the street, and they hug and like, hey, how can you be racist when this exists in the world? It's just Brittany Mahomes, Clyde.
I like that. I'm gonna have to take in the content after the show today. All right, we'll come back. We have talked about nothing else.
Nothing.
Today. So let's talk about some things. I know it's a great radio tease. Back with more next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
When it comes to concrete repair, Everlevel has some serious game. Coach Greg McDermott here to coach you on why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. They've got the fundamentals to fix your cracked and uneven concrete, and their products will give you the best defense against future damage. It's a fraction of the price compared to replacement, and their solutions come with a long-term transferable warranty. Working with Everlevel is a slam dunk. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today for your free inspection.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Since 1972, family-owned and locally roasted Host Coffee Service has been roasting the finest coffee for businesses and restaurants. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee. Since 1972, Post Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
My daughter is normally a little goofball, but after a bad night's sleep, she's too tired to be anything. That's why I trust Pure Z's Kids. Pure Z's Kids is mindfully formulated just for kids. Their non-habit forming, drug-free products help my daughter fall asleep naturally, giving her the rest to be her best.
I'm a dinosaur.
Her best dinosaur.
Pure Z's Kids, for ages 4 and up when needed. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
You know what mentality can help you with? Low energy, motivation, weight gain, muscle loss, fatigue, tired all the time, feeling anxious, moody, irritability, impatience, anxiety, and depression. Mentality can help you with their board-certified physicians and their testosterone treatments that can take care of you and get you back in the game. You can regain normal function and restore your ability to perform normally at all levels just by mentality. Set up an appointment today. Go to lowtusa.com. Get back in the game. Don't sit on the sidelines and let mentality lead the...
Drop it, maybe?
Drop it. Yeah. Or not be mad about it anymore. Or like, yes, I was mad then. I'm like, it's been 4 days. I'm obviously cool now.
I would encourage her to honestly just keep it going at this point. Just keep talking about this. This will be really good for you. She's outing herself. That's what she's doing.
They always telling themselves.
I got a tweet from Dan who said,
"Hi, Dan.
Wow, I didn't know I could hate someone who I didn't know existed 72 hours ago." Here's some tweets from Eric Olson of the Associated Press.
Hi, Eric.
Lisa Bluter today on if she spoke to Big Ten post-game protocols. Quote, "There's Big Ten protocol. Big Ten protocol. But we didn't follow it before the game, during the game, or after the game. So I'm not even sure why we would have protocol if we're not going to follow it." All right, so I have a bone to pick with this.
Oh,
okay. What was the protocol that we missed before the game? I hadn't heard of that one yet. And she keeps bringing up the whole noise during the free throws thing, doesn't she? She can't forget that one either. Lisa Bluter, follow-up comment on if she talked to the Big Ten about protocol. Quote, "I got a lot of I'm sorries."
Name one.
Lisa Bluter on getting every opponent's best shot this season. Quote, "I mean, you can see Nebraska like they thought they won the national championship when they beat us, right? It was like that important to them."
Yes, when your blood rival comes to town and is ranked second in the country and you spoil their mega superstar player from breaking an all-time scoring record. Yes, you do tend to celebrate that. Yes.
It's sad.
And how would you know what it looks like to win the national championship, Lisa?
She has to stop. Like she has to stop at this point, Josh. Like I want her to save herself, but at the same time, I'd love to see this train keep rolling down the tracks. Keep talking about it.
Yeah.
It's great, but it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You lost.
You're just going to have to sit there and hold the L.
You lost. And not everything can go your way. This is the same point I made on Monday. I feel like everything I said on Monday is completely ringing true once again, 48 hours later and 72 hours after the game.
Jack Mitchell has commented.
Hi, Jack. I wonder what he said.
Bluter is going to hand Clark a plaque in the first quarter tomorrow and then grab a mic out of her hand as she's about to accept it and start listing more Nebraska-related grievances.
It'll be on Peacock, too.
Here's your plaque, Caitlin. Now we follow protocol here, and the protocol says we got to get back to the game.
She can't stop. I mean, we all know people with addiction.
Yes, we do.
She can't stop. She's addicted to it. I think she has a problem.
Addicted to the anger. It gives me attention. I like attention.
Okay, so once again, what do you think the rule that Nebraska we broke during the beginning of the game was?
I wouldn't venture a guess.
I'm trying to think of what we did that could have been. Oh, maybe it was me not giving the guy the Dash for Cash deal.
Yeah.
That was before the game.
Uh-huh.
Maybe she's mad for that guy. This is a Big Ten protocol. You were supposed to give that guy $200. Could have been.
He passed go.
Could have been. During the game, we know what she was talking about with they play music during free throws. Which, once again, and the second thing she said that I just read, I got a lot of I'm sorries. Like, that was the whole deal with the press conference thing on Sunday. She shows up late, and Nebraska's like, they tell everybody in the room, they say, hey, look, like, this is going to kind of be disjointed. It is understood that we are going out of order. But basically, and this is paraphrasing, basically we ask that you bear with us. Just hang tight. We're gonna get through this.
We know everybody wants to get back to their places and watch the Super Bowl.
And the hope is that Iowa, when they show up, would be willing to accommodate this disjointed thing that we're doing here.
I imagine.
And they showed up, and she lost her head.
I imagine the amount of questions from media members would have been much greater for Caitlin Clark. I imagine her time at the podium would have been longer than Jazz's or whoever represented Nebraska.
Like if you were the Big Ten office, and you on Sunday at 4:00 receive a phone call from Lisa Bluter that says, "I thought we had protocol. We're supposed to go first in the press conference, and yet I showed up to the press conference and they were going first. What the hell?" If you're on the other line and you're the Big Ten office, what do you say to that? Well, Lisa, I'm really sorry to hear this. It's like you're on a customer service call.
Yeah. I'm sorry this happened.
Did you try unplugging it and replugging it back in? You know, I'm really sorry that this happened to you. Is there anything that we could do to make it better? Yes, you can make it better. Just follow the Big Ten protocol. Follow the Big Ten protocol. Well, okay, thank you. We really appreciate your feedback. We'd like to offer you a $10 gift card to Mr. Good Sense. Would you accept this? Okay, fine.
You're damn right. You better overnight it.
Okay, fine. I'll take the gift card. That's what she is. She's complaining for the sake of complaining.
I imagine
it's really, really quite stupid.
I gotta think her phone's ringing today and tonight, and someone from the Big Ten is like, "You gotta shut up about this. You're making us all look bad."
Because
you
here's the
sound
deal,
like a crazy
which
person.
I was told that there's no protocol.
Yeah.
But if there is a protocol, who cares? She's mad at she's trying to get Nebraska on a technicality. Like, you have to punish them because they let them go first in the press conference. This doesn't matter at all. This doesn't matter at all. And your players were adults enough to go into the press conference afterwards and do the press conference and act like normal human beings and answer all the questions that were hurled at them from the media. And she was absent. She was sitting in the corner crying on the bus.
Jack Mitchell has now publicly accused this all from stemming from your lack of granting the young man the cash.
These are new allegations.
I didn't know.
I didn't know that we didn't follow the protocol before the game. I would have to be updated on what that is.
They said the anthem would start with 13 minutes left on the clock. It started with 12:55 left on the clock. What are we doing?
Yeah, this is great. I hope she talks about it tomorrow too. I hope she brings it up after the game. They play tomorrow, right, or tonight?
Tomorrow.
I hope she brings it up after Caitlin Clark sets the record tomorrow. Yeah, what happened at Nebraska? They just followed the protocol.
Oh, the
protocol.
I can almost guarantee that she's going to get to that press conference tomorrow night, and good to be back home where we follow protocol or something like that. Just
I hope she does.
Real quick, real snippy.
Keep doing this forever and ever. Seriously. That's so great. Thank you, Lisa Bluter. We appreciate the content.
Also, has anyone covering Iowa women's basketball asked, "Hey, you guys lost. What the hell took you so long to get to the podium? Nebraska managed to have an on-court celebration and get to the podium before you."
It's a fair question, Josh.
What happened?
They had to be escorted by security and
their
whole thing.
Sure.
Hey, quickly, before we take a break, we'll dive into this more tomorrow. The first version of the SP Plus came out today.
Ooh.
Remember we did the Nebraska 7.5 win total thing yesterday? By the way, somebody came up to me at the Jays game last night. It was like, Nebraska over 7.5. I love it.
Let's go.
And
GBR.
I was like, you bet you do. You bet you do. Don't be scared. Don't be worried about the past. So the first SP Plus came out today, and they rank all the teams by offense, defense, special teams. So Nebraska total comes. You'll love this, actually. This is not just me reading random numbers today. This is actually funny. Nebraska is number 39 in the SP Plus. Not bad. I think they finished in the low 50s last year.
It's a nice spot to be.
Their defense is ranked 6th.
Oh, let's go.
6. That'll fluctuate a little bit. It might bounce around 10 or who knows. But their defense, based on returning production and talent and all what the picture looks like, 6th in the country going into the year, according to the SP Plus by Bill Connolly. Nebraska's offense, 115th.
Oh,
I didn't think it'd be that bad.
That hurts.
Now, here's why. Because they had some production last year, and they told all of it to hit the road. Their quarterback is now their third-string quarterback. Okay. The quarterback that had most of the production is their third-string quarterback. Their quarterback who had the second most production is probably not on the team, although I haven't heard about him lately, and Jeff Sims. And their third quarterback left. He went to Nevada after he tried to go to San Jose State or something like that. Jumba. So that's one. Running back production takes a dip because Grant's gone. And they had to basically what I'm telling you is, once again, there's no way Nebraska has the 115th best offense in the country this year. No chance. Not happening.
None.
They will be better. And they already think that your defense is 6th, and they already have you total ranked at 39. It's all on track, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
It's all on track. I am loving what I am seeing right now. Rank that offense as low as you can. Because without a shadow of a doubt, it's going to be better.
Quick update from Kansas City.
Oh, good.
I would encourage everyone to look up the ASL translator during the performance of Swag Surfing.
I will.
She goes hard.
I will. Thank you. One tweet from Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Hard to believe someone at Iowa could be a worse complainer than Fran McCaffrey, but here we are. Bluter ridiculous. Make it a word, he says.
All right, it's a
They're
word.
Creating words. There you go. Done. John emails.
Hi, John.
How old is Lisa Bluter? Why is she using the word as if she is a 14-year-old, like if she's a 14-year-old girl? And are you one of the people that has apologized to her? No. Have not, will not. Sorry. To you all. Not sorry to her. Well, questions, tell you what to watch next on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on The Crossover.
We create a podcast.
Yes.
That where we get two people together who have divorced each other.
Yes.
And they talk about when they realized they wanted to divorce each other.
And how much they hate the other person. That's the key.
And just generally how it all fell apart. Dude, I mean,
it's a great idea.
It's really funny. I don't think a podcast like this exists anywhere.
Mornings with Sharp and Hanley. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mid to upper 50s for a high temperature this evening. More clouds working in along with a southeast breeze. By the evening time frame, you're talking about a small chance of a shower. Tomorrow morning, a starting temperature near 30 degrees and eventually warming up to about 41 degrees with a colder northwest breeze. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery. KETV News Watch 7.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
42 Degrees is showing you the love with sweet deals on Kratom and Delta products. Buy one, get one half off. 25% off CBD melatonin products. 30% off premium pre-rolls from Top Shelf, Buds Burn, and Tyson. Cube disposables, 4 for $20. And 42 Degrees gummies are way better than a box of chocolates. They're 20% off now through Valentine's Day at 42 Degrees. Your destination for top-tier cannabis, second to none product selection, and exceptional service. By your mom's house.
Velocity Clinical Research in Omaha frequently conducts clinical trials for a broad range of investigational treatments. Typical studies involve medications for acne, allergies, chronic diseases, depression, and others. They also perform vaccine studies for people of all ages, conducting innovative research that has a positive impact on lives. Click for current trials at velocityclinicaltrials.com. More trials are launching in March. Compensation for study-related time and travel. Find out more at velocityclinicaltrials.com.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Car repair is car repair. Most places you go can change your oil or fix your brakes. The difference is the experience you'll get at Omaha Car Care. We're part of the community. We were born here, and we believe that our relationship with you should be built to last. We're going to consult you, not sell you. We're going to give you a free loaner car. We're going to treat you like a valued friend that we want to continue to see in the years to come. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear.
That meeting could have been an email.
Things you missed when you were tired finally reveal themselves.
Look at all the things my neck can do now.
At Mattress Firm, we know the right mattress matters. That's why we give you 120 nights to make sure it's right for you, or your money back. Plus, you get free and fast delivery. Shop in-store or online at mattressfirm.com. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online. Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Do you know a high school senior who'd like a $12,000 college scholarship? Be sure to tell them that the Salvation Army is now seeking nominations for the DJ's Hero Award scholarships. We're looking for Nebraska high school seniors who have overcome adversity and who are doing the most good in their communities. The application deadline is Wednesday, March 13th, so nominate your hero today. Just go to djshero.org for more information. That's djshero.org.
Omaha native Frankie Fiddler is top 20 in the NCAA Division I scoring and leading the Omaha Maverick men's basketball team in a run for the conference title. The Maverick men are at home against South Dakota on Thursday and South Dakota State on Saturday. And Maverick hockey only has 4 regular season home games left on February 23rd and 24th when they take on Colorado College in a top 20 matchup. Let's pack the Baxter. Get your tickets now. Call the box office at 402-554-MAVS or omavs.com/tigs.
I look forward to whatever video comes out of this right now. Travis Kelce has a microphone in his hand.
And a WWE championship around his waist.
Shocking stuff.
Wonder if he'll end up in Philly at WrestleMania.
At Happer Show, that's where the poll questions lie on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Which do you prefer, Sloppy Joe or loose meat sandwich?
Most voted on poll question of the day.
Sloppy Joe. 68% agree. Does anything say love more than a sloppy Joe?
Yes, lots of things.
Yeah, I'll say yes as well. 47% say no. So 53% say yes. There's a lot of no's, by the way. Yes or no, Kate Hudson?
No. I'm out.
77% say yes.
She's just a pretty face.
It's a bit of a zag by us. Does Connor Happer look like he could be in the band Kiss?
No, not a chance.
83% say no. Would you race the Freeze? Not interested.
I would not.
68% say no. And finally, do you like a little vitriol every now and then? Big time. Huge fan of hate.
As long as it's not directed at me, sure.
76% say yes. That's good. I like that. Those are the poll questions. Josh, what are we watching tonight?
Got an NBA doubleheader on ESPN. Bulls at the Cavs. 6:30 tip-off there. Cleveland, the number 2 seed in the East, if you didn't know. 9-1 in their last 10. Clippers travel to Golden State for a 9 o'clock tip-off. Golden State's won 5 in a row. They've now lifted themselves up to the 10 seed. Which
And
is
they tried to trade for LeBron.
Yeah. And it did not work. No. Interesting. NHL, one game on TNT, 6:30 start between the Panthers and the Penguins. There is an alternate telecast on True TV featuring
SpongeBob,
the Spittin' Chicklets crew over from Barstool.
Oh, podcast.
They have a hockey podcast. College basketball tonight, Michigan State at Penn State, 5:30 on BTN. Number 11, South Carolina at number 13, Auburn, 7:30 on SEC Network. And number 8, Tennessee at Arkansas, 8 o'clock on ESPN2. Netflix has the season 6 premiere of Love is Blind. A new group of Charlotte singles hit the pods to try to find love. I don't know a lot of the words I just said. They don't seem to go together, but I'm sure people know.
It did make a sentence, though. That's it?
Yeah, that's what we're watching.
Okay, cool. Nice. It was one of the shortest ones I've ever heard.
Well, we're pressed for time.
Okay, we're out of here. I say we keep going. We can make them wait and make them pound on the door. This is Big Ten protocol.
I have some movies.
Give me 2.
Give me 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty Woman is streaming on Hulu. Love and Basketball is streaming on Max and Paramount Plus.
Okay. Thank you, Josh. So
Thank
we're
you,
watching
Connor.
tonight. Happy Valentine's Day. Enjoy your sloppy joes. That's the show. If you missed anything, including our interviews with Ed Servais and Kyle Perry, check them out on our website, 1620thezone.com. The crossover is next.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Put your coffee department in good hands with Host Coffee Service, providing direct delivery and loaned coffee equipment with service programs. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
It's the most time-honored tradition to start the weekend, grabbing a cold one from a local Nebraska brewery. Let's be real here. It's cold outside, and you don't want to drink the same boring beer as those Hawkeye fans. Drink Nebraska-brewed beer, cider, or seltzers instead. Each week, we're putting the spotlight on a unique Nebraska brewery with One Beer Friday. Share your brew on social media with the hashtag One Beer